Chapter 3603. The celestial sacrificial array had completely sealed off the demonic strange mountain range, and some of the powerful demonic beasts in this dangerous place were awakened. Lord Qing tried to stop the protector, but it was impossible for the latter to stop. The moment the celestial sacrificial array appeared, it was destined that the protector's plan for many years would be officially launched. Since we dare to station ourselves here, how can we not know the strangeness of this place? The protector sneered. Why did the descendant of the Blood God clan enter here with the fusion source fragment? Why was Lord Qing sleeping here? Boom. The two men once again engaged in a chaotic battle. Although Lord Qing was only an incarnation, his means were heaven-defying, and he was able to withstand the attack of the protector of the no-demon cult. Moreover, he used his own strength to suppress the celestial sacrificial array, preventing it from exerting its strongest power. This way, it could be considered to have bought time for Fang Chen. Whoosh, whoosh. As Fang Chen sped along, a commotion could be heard behind him. The members of the No-Devil cult were chasing after him, but he couldn't care less. He didn't want to deal with the weaker members of the No-Devil cult. Where do you think you're going? An early-stage 9th level saint blocked Fang Chen's path. His task was very simple, which was to stall for time. Die. Fang Chen performed the heaven-severing alchemy technique, and the power of the two sources erupted, forming a terrible spatial storm. Poochie. Almost in an instant, the hidden star sword pierced through the man's head, and then Fang Chen leaped and disappeared. Damn it. Behind him, there was a terrible aura sweeping over, and angry roars were incessant. Everyone realized the terrifying strength of Fang Chen. Be careful, his strength is enough to kill an early-stage 9th level saint. Someone reminded. The ones at the front were peak 9th level saints. Their cold eyes locked onto Fang Chen's position. The dragon-severing terrace is ahead. Someone in the chasing team said. The demonic sun seems to be cultivating there. Quickly send a message to the demonic sun, let him stop them. The dragon-severing stage was located at the core of the demonic mountain range. Its surroundings were filled with terrifying dragon roars. There was a rumor about the dragon-severing stage. It was said that there was once a powerful being who cultivated here. The dragon clan wanted to occupy this place and fought fiercely with the powerful being. In the end, the dragon clan was beheaded. Since then, the dragon clan's expression changed when they talked about this place. This was the origin of the dragon-severing terrace. There were a total of 3 devil sons in the no-demon cult. Each devil son had the battle prowess of the peak of rank 9. They were the hope of the no-demon cult's rise as well as the personal disciples of the no-demon cult master. The stone dragon demon child had been cultivating on the dragon-severing platform for 300 years. He possessed a trace of the dragon clan's bloodline, and by chance, it had fused with the demonic bloodline, evolving into an even more terrifying bloodline. He cultivated at the broken dragon platform in order to capture the blood left behind by the dragon clan powerhouse. The black-clothed stone dragon demon son was shrouded in demonic chi. His jade pendant vibrated as he slowly opened his eyes. Dao Palace disciple Fang Chen? At first, he was disdainful, but when he found out that this person might have obtained the fusion source fragment that the no-demon cult coveted, he was instantly excited. As he pondered, he got up and stood at the peak of the dragon-severing terrace, looking down at the ground. Soon, he discovered Fang Chen, who was rushing over. A rank 5 holy king? The stone dragon demon son was clearly surprised when he saw Fang Chen. Boom. With a thought, he slammed his palm forward. Instantly, a terrifying demonic chi handprint condensed in the void and shrouded Fang Chen. Poof! Fang Chen cursed in his heart. With a shake of his wrist, he split the handprint with his sword. At the same time, his body was forced to stop. Interesting. The stone dragon demon son's pupils shrank as he was shocked. He had been cultivating in seclusion for 300 years and knew nothing about what had happened in the outside world. Naturally, he did not know about Fang Chen's shocking deeds in the demonic Skyfire domain. In his impression, it was rare for a rank 5 holy king to have the battle prowess of a rank 9 saint. You are Fang Chen, a disciple of the Doctrine Palace? The stone dragon demon's son regained his composure and stared at Fang Chen as he asked. Fang Chen remained silent as he thought of a way to deal with the situation. The stone dragon demon's son sneered. Hand over the Rong Yuan shard on you and swear to be my servant. I can guarantee your safety. Dream on. Fang Chen did not want to waste any more time and immediately used the sky-severing alchemy skill. Whoosh! A dazzling sword light mixed with two terrifying origins whizzed out. This is, the stone dragon demon's son's eyes widened. The sword light in the void made his heart palpitate. What kind of secret technique is this? This kind of secret technique had already surpassed his understanding. His heart was filled with greed as his eyes were filled with greed. Die. The stone dragon demon's son flipped his palm and two different origins appeared. A black aura covered his body as he faced the dazzling sword light with his bare hands. Crack. The stone dragon demon's son caught the dazzling sword light with his bare hands. It's useless. You can't escape in front of me. The stone dragon demon's son said coldly. Not far away, the other members of the Sans demon cult had already caught up. Fang Chen's heart sank as he looked behind him. If this drags on, he will definitely die. The guardian of the Sans demon cult who was fighting with Lord Green also sneered. That guy is already surrounded and will definitely die. You will die because of him. You will regret this battle. Although there was a change in the plan and Lord Green's incarnation had awakened, it was still under the seal of the Heaven's sacrificial array. Everything was under control. There were countless peak 9th rank sages rushing towards Fang Chen. How could he, a mere 5th rank holy emperor, resist them? Although the Paragon secret technique is strong, he still can't unleash its full power. The guardian of the Sans demon cult thought. Fang Chen was a little anxious. The stone dragon demon's son did not give him a chance and increased the intensity of his attacks. The sky-severing alchemy skill was already hard to resist, and there were many peak 9th rank sages behind him. Fang Chen was in a life-and-death crisis. He had to make a decision. Do I really have to use it? Fang Chen was a little hesitant. The Samsara blade was related to the true reincarnation. Once it was used, it would plant a seed of karma. How could he casually touch the reincarnation that even the ancient almighties avoided? Boom! The stone dragon demon's son shattered the bright sword light with a punch and forced Fang Chen to retreat. The hidden star sword made a sound of metal clashing. Fang Chen felt a pain in his hand and a trace of blood flowed out. The perfect bloodline quickly operated, protecting his internal organs and primordial spirit, and at the same time providing him with an endless supply of energy. Die! The stone dragon demon's son attacked again. Fang Chen had no other choice. He gritted his teeth and took out the Samsara blade. Buzz! Dense death chi suddenly appeared, and the temperature in the sky suddenly dropped. The stone dragon demon's son trembled as he felt a chill. What is that? The stone dragon demon's son saw the Samsara blade in Fang Chen's hand. Kill. Chapter 3604. The stone dragon demon's son's body was covered by a special bloodline, forming a layer of extremely strong defense armor. He was very confident in his own strength, and it was difficult to find a match among 9th-level saints. Moreover, he had cultivated on the dragon-severing platform for so many years, and his bloodline had been evolving. He had not fought in these years, but he could clearly feel the changes in his own strength. He had now reached the critical point of 9th-level peak, and only needed an opportunity to enter the invincible saint realm. Now, he was facing a 5th-level saint emperor. From the beginning, he seemed to have seen the result. Die! The stone dragon demon's son growled, and used his strongest attack. However, when the death aura of the Samsara blade approached him, a trace of shock finally appeared on his confident face. What's going on? He cried out. It was just an ordinary blade, but why did it make his primordial spirit tremble? Moreover, when the saber approached him, he felt the temperature in the surrounding void drop rapidly. Could it be? In a flash, he thought of a legend about reincarnation. No. Then, he seemed to have thought of something. When he looked at the Samsara blade, his pupils suddenly shrank, and he screamed loudly. His face was extremely gloomy. He attacked wildly, wanting to destroy the Samsara blade, but it was to no avail. The samsara blade emitted a terrifying death aura. Under the control of Fang Chen, it easily cut through the void, and wherever it passed, the void was directly corroded. Reincarnation was a taboo matter that the peak experts of ancient times avoided talking about. It was said that the path of reincarnation involved too many things. Even an invincible saint would die if he was not careful. It was also said that if one mastered the path of reincarnation, they would be able to control the world and become one with the way of heaven. The stone dragon demon's son had never believed in reincarnation, but now that he truly felt the aura of the path of reincarnation, he finally felt fear. Poochie. The strongest attack that he was proud of had no power to resist the samsara blade, and was instantly shattered. Then, before he could react, he was hit by the samsara blade. Ah! He screamed miserably. He held his head with both hands, and the death aura invaded his mind, corroding his primordial spirit. He fell to the ground in pain, rolling continuously. In the blink of an eye, he lost his vitality. This sudden scene caused the large group of pursuers to be stunned on the spot. Their hearts trembled and they did not dare to believe what they were seeing. Is that Shalong Demon's son? After a moment of silence, such a voice came from the crowd. Heavens! What exactly is that saber? Why does it make my primordial spirit tremble? The stone dragon demon's son's cultivation base has reached the peak of the 9th stage, but he can't even block a single slash? It's too scary. The group of people started to waver, and the way they looked at Fang Chen became unusually serious. At this time, Fang Chen held the samsara knife in his hand and looked like the god of death. His aura was too terrifying and cold. In the distance, Qing Jun and the protector of the demon cult, who were fighting fiercely, were also stunned. This was especially true for Lord Green. In ancient times, he had already reached the pinnacle. He had a greater understanding of the secrets of samsara. Moreover, he had been in a deep slumber after being severely injured in the Battle of Godfall. He more or less had some understanding of the so-called samsara road. The samsara knife. Lord Green cried out involuntarily. He did not expect that Fang Chen actually had the samsara knife in his hand. Could it be that the samsara road really exists in this mountain range? Otherwise, how could the samsara knife in Fang Chen's hand be explained? But, he's a 5th stage Saint Emperor. How can he hold the samsara knife? It should be known that in ancient times, there were many powerful figures who searched for the samsara road and even tried to get the samsara knife, but they were all annihilated in the long river of history. No! The protector of the demon cult roared wildly. His heart was burning with anger. He wanted to rush over and kill Fang Chen, but was stopped by Lord Green. Your opponent is me. After a brief moment of absent-mindedness, Lord Green regained his composure and went all out to stop the protector of the demon cult. At the same time, he also breathed a sigh of relief. No matter how Fang Chen got the samsara knife and was able to activate it, at least his life was not in danger at this stage. Whoosh! While Lord Green and the protector of the demon cult were fighting fiercely, Fang Chen's heart was also shaken. Is this the power of samsara? In his mind, he recalled that he had just entered the demonic mountains and encountered the samsara protector. See you on the samsara road. Fang Chen racked his brains but could not figure out why those people would say such words to him. Would he step on the samsara road in the future? Kill. The battle cries shook the sky. The members of the No Demon cult received the order of the protector to kill Fang Chen and destroy the samsara knife at all costs. They completely fell into madness and attacked together to besiege Fang Chen. Poochie. The perfect bloodline ran and covered the samsara knife. A terrible death aura swept through heaven and earth. Fang Chen held the samsara knife and shuttled through the crowd, launching a fierce bloody battle. The samsara knife was too terrifying. After all, it was something from the samsara road. It was difficult for ordinary people to resist. The knife flashed and heads rolled. In the blink of an eye, the ground was covered with bones and blood flowed like a river. With the samsara knife in hand, Fang Chen could easily kill a 9th-rank saint. Even if he faced a 9th-rank saint, it would only take a little time. Fang Chen fell into a frenzy of killing. The people of the demon cult were retreating. They were terrified. Run. Finally, some people began to flee. Their hearts were in chaos. For a moment, Fang Chen's will was affected by the samsara knife. Like a walking corpse, he chased after the people of the demon cult. Wake up. Lord Green's voice, like a thunderclap, sounded in Fang Chen's mind. Buzz. The perfect bloodline poured into his mind and expelled the will of the samsara knife. In an instant, Fang Chen woke up. Phew. That was, just now, he had fallen into a mysterious state. He saw a path that he couldn't see the end of. That path was grey and hazy, without any signs of life. It was filled with the aura of death. In fact, he even saw some scattered corpses on the path. The samsara road. Fang Chen's heart was set off stormy waves. He suspected that he had just seen the legendary samsara road. The samsara knife is no small matter. Don't let it affect your mind. Lord Green's voice came again. At the same time, he warned Fang Chen that the All Heavens sacrificial array was temporarily suppressed by him and he needed to escape from this place as soon as possible. Senior, how long can you resist? Fang Chen asked hurriedly. How could he leave before he found the Sky Sword Peak Master? 3 days. Lord Green said. Fang Chen nodded. Thank you, Senior. After that, Fang Chen's figure flashed and disappeared into the darkness. Lord Green, you're courting death. The people of the demon cult were terrified by the samsara knife. The protector was furious. He wanted to kill Lord Green's incarnation at all costs. Chapter 3605. Fang Chen came to his senses. He followed the path he had just seen in the mist. His intuition told him that the path was very likely to be the legendary reincarnation road. Whoosh. Soon after, Fang Chen found the lair of the no-demon cult. At this moment, his heart was incomparably shocked, setting off perilous waves, because the no-demon cult's lair was actually on the hazy path he saw. How is this possible? Fang Chen was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Countless speculations flashed through his mind. Finally, he raised the samsara knife, activated the perfect bloodline in his body, and slashed down. Hiss. Hiss. When the samsara knife hit the seal of the lair of the no-demon cult, it immediately caused the surrounding void to collapse. The next moment, an overwhelming aura of death rushed over. Fang Chen was horrified and wanted to dodge, but when the aura of death approached him, it was instantly absorbed by the samsara knife. Is the lair of the no-demon cult really on the reincarnation road? When he controlled the samsara knife to kill the enemy, Fang Chen fell into a daze. For a moment, he saw the grey reincarnation road, which was in this direction. Now, after combining his speculations, he concluded that the lair of the no-demon cult should be on the edge of the reincarnation road, and they were also exploring the mystery of the reincarnation road. Crack. The samsara knife grew bigger and bigger, and it cut open the seal of the lair of the no-demon cult. Fang Chen was even more convinced that this place had something to do with the reincarnation road. Otherwise, no matter how strong the samsara knife was, it could not ignore the obstruction of the All Heavens sacrificial deployment. Swoosh. With a stir of his mind, Fang Chen got into the void crack. Roar. In the demonic mountain range, the corpses of the no-demon cult were piled up like mountains, and blood flowed like rivers. Some people were fleeing in panic, for they had been scared out of their wits. Even Sherlong, one of the 3 devil sons, was killed by Fang Chen with one strike. How could they resist him? Run. The crowd was in chaos and fled in all directions. Seeing this scene, the protector's anger reached the extreme. He slapped at Qing Jun and forced him to retreat. Then, he stared at Qing Jun with his deep eyes. You forced me to do this. The no-demon cult protector roared furiously. Soon after, he spread open his hands. Drops of blood flowed out from his fingertips and dripped onto the ground. Hiss hiss hiss. The power of the All Heavens sacrificial formation was fully activated. The power of the All Heavens sacrificial formation was further enhanced by the injection of the demonic bloodline. Sacrifice of the heavens, slaying gods and annihilating Buddhas. The protector of the Sans demon cult fell into a frenzy. His hands formed a terrifying mudra as he tried to control the heavens sacrificial formation that had already fallen into a frenzy. Wang. Seeing this, Qing Jun's expression changed. However, before he could react, he was imprisoned by the All Heavens sacrificial formation. Not good. Black Lord cried out in his heart. Immediately, his incarnation collapsed and disappeared into the void. Boom. Boom. The protector of the no-demon cult frantically bombarded the void where Qing Jun had disappeared. His face was ferocious and incomparably deranged. Trying to escape. The protector of the no-demon cult forced Qing Jun out of hiding, but at this time, an extremely powerful object also appeared in Qing Jun's hand. Wang. This object was a compass. The needle on it was rotating slowly. As Qing Jun poured his power into it, the dim compass emitted a dazzling light. In an instant, the compass was activated. An extremely vast death aura erupted. This is. The protector of the no-demon cult was shocked and kept retreating. This is the power of samsara that I have collected from the reincarnation road over the countless years. I was originally going to use it for my original body, but now, I have no other choice. Qing Jun said. Even though he was once a top expert of this world, he still felt a little pained when he activated the compass. This compass was a powerful object that was once famous in the world, the ancient gazing compass. Only such a powerful artifact could contain the power of reincarnation. Whoosh, whoosh. The power of samsara dissipated and quickly swept across the world, shrouding the protector of the no-demon cult. No, impossible, even the ancient gazing compass can't withstand the corrosion of the power of samsara. The protector of the no-demon cult shook his head frantically. He recognized the ancient gazing compass and couldn't believe it. Puff. Shrouded by the power of samsara, the protector of the no-demon cult let out a miserable scream. One of his arms was bloody and broken. He slapped his other hand, and the celestial sacrificial array shrank and trapped Qing Jun. Then, his figure flashed and disappeared in an instant. Fang Chen had no idea about the battle outside. After entering the lair of the no-demon cult, he held the samsara knife and went on a killing spree. Anyone who tried to stop him was killed without mercy. Along the way, Fang Chen was shocked to the extreme. After entering the lair of the no-demon cult, the power of the samsara knife was actually increasing. What did this mean? Fang Chen exclaimed, and he was even more certain of his guess. This should be the edge of the reincarnation road. Although the death aura was thin, it was enough to raise the samsara knife to a higher level. Puff. When a 9th-level saint approached, Fang Chen flicked his wrist and killed him with a slash. The strongest protector of the no-demon cult was stopped by Qing Jun's incarnation. Now that Fang Chen had taken out a powerful weapon like the samsara knife, no one could stop him. As a sword cultivator, his attainments in swordsmanship were extremely high. As soon as he entered, he sensed that there was an extremely terrifying sword tomb in this space. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Soon, he saw the dark sword tomb and the sky sword peak master, who was in a sorry state and whose aura was weak. He dragged his tired body and held a long sword in his hand, fighting against the broken swords in the dark sword tomb. Sky sword peak master. Fang Chen shouted and stepped into the dark sword tomb. Boy, you're courting death. A 9th-level saint who stayed in the lair attacked, and the heaven-turning palm print covered Fang Chen, trying to suppress him. Get lost. Fang Chen, who was already very angry, was enraged when he saw the Sky Sword Peak Master's appearance. With a backhand slash, he cut the 9th-level saint in two. How is this possible? In the distance, some of the weaker martial artists sucked in cold breaths. Oh my god, how can this guy be so strong? He killed the junior guardian with one slash? Hurry up and inform the guardian. The no-demon cult's lair was facing the biggest crisis in hundreds of millions of years. Fang Chen did not stay and directly entered the Dark Sword tomb. Lord Qing could only hold on for 3 days. In other words, whether they could save the Sky Sword Peak Master or not, they had to leave this place after 3 days. Otherwise, their lives would be in danger. Sky Sword Peak Master. Fang Chen shouted as he entered the Dark Sword tomb. At this moment, the Sky Sword Peak Master was at the center of the Dark Sword tomb. When he heard someone calling him, he turned his head. Fang Chen? The Sky Sword Peak Master was stunned. Have you been captured too? Soon, the Sky Sword Peak Master asked with a solemn expression. Fang Chen shook his head. Sky Sword Peak Master, you've suffered. I'm here to save you. You, the Sky Sword Peak Master was stunned and then a little worried. Fang Chen continued, there's a senior who's holding back the guardian of the No Demon cult outside. The rest are no match for me. With that, Fang Chen moved forward. Don't come over. Chapter 3606. The Sky Sword Peak Master's face was filled with fear. He held the sword in one hand and waved it at Fang Chen with the other to prevent him from getting close to the center of the Dark Sword Mound. Buzz! Terrifying sword radiance floated out from the countless broken swords and surrounded the Sky Sword Peak Master. It instantly shattered his defense and wreaked havoc on his body. Poochie! The Sky Sword Peak Master spat out blood and staggered 2 steps before falling to the ground. His aura was weak as if he was haunted by evil spirits. Sky Sword Peak Master! Fang Chen exclaimed. His powerful consciousness captured the movement of the broken swords in the Dark Sword Mound. He was shocked. The Dark Sword Mound was much more terrifying than he had imagined. At this moment, the Sky Sword Peak Master was already exhausted and could not hold on any longer. What a terrifying dark sword chi! Fang Chen was an expert of the way of the sword and had created his own invincible way of the sword. Moreover, he had cultivated the supreme art, sky-severing alchemy, and had some understanding of the way of the sword. However, he was still shocked by the dark sword chi. He even wondered what kind of environment could form such a terrifying dark sword mound. The broken swords in the Dark Sword Mound had changed. The remnant thoughts left by their masters had turned into resentment and entered the broken swords, turning them into the most vicious weapons in the world. These broken swords seemed to be even more ruthless to sword principal martial artists. Poochie! In a flash, the Sky Sword Peak Master's body was riddled with holes. If he did not have a sword principal secret treasure, he would have died. Dong dong dong! Fang Chen could not care less. With the invincible sword chi surrounding him, he held the star-hidden sword in one hand and the reincarnation blade in the other and walked toward the Sky Sword Peak Master. It could be seen that Fang Chen's steps were getting heavier and heavier. With every step, he was eroded by the dark sword chi. However, he did not retreat. Refine. The dark sword chi wrapped around his body and tried to erode his organs. However, Fang Chen used his perfect bloodline to refine it. Soon, there was a hissing sound. Fang Chen was surprised to find that his perfect bloodline could restrain the dark sword chi. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. As soon as the dark sword chi invaded his organs, it was enveloped and refined by his perfect bloodline. This scene gave Fang Chen great confidence. He quickly walked toward the Sky Sword Peak Master. Soon, he walked toward the center of the Dark Sword Mound. Sky Sword Peak Master, how are you? Fang Chen took out some healing pills and gave them to the Sky Sword Peak Master. The latter swallowed them, and his face became rosy after a while. His injuries were also under control. This place is very strange. Those broken swords seem to be targeting us sword cultivators. Hurry up and leave. Don't worry about me. The Sky Sword Peak Master took a deep breath and said quickly. Fang Chen was a disciple of the Heaven-Defying Alliance, and he was someone that the Dao Palace's Palace Lord Lei thought highly of. He was the future hope of the Heaven-Defying Alliance, so even if it cost him his life, he had to protect his disciple. Fang Chen patted the Sky Sword Peak Master's shoulder. At that moment, the densely packed broken swords in the Dark Sword Mound seemed to have a telepathic connection. They trembled violently and floated in the air, releasing dark sword light. They intertwined and formed a dark cage. Fang Chen's complexion changed greatly. He waved the hidden star sword in his hand and used the heaven-slashing alchemy technique. Rays of golden sword light carried 2 different origins and attacked the dark cage with great force. At the same time, the samsara knife in his right hand moved. Bang bang bang! The sound of metal colliding was heard. The dark sword chi in the dark cage was so terrifying that it seemed to devour the void. Fang Chen's hidden star sword was greatly hindered. Kill. To Fang Chen's surprise, the dark cage began to shake as soon as the samsara knife was out. It seemed that the death aura released by the samsara knife could restrain the dark sword chi. With this discovery, Fang Chen immediately put away the hidden star sword and injected all his strength into the samsara knife. He slashed at the dark cage. Crack! The knife cut open the dark sword light and shattered the hidden sword chi. Samsara. No. At the moment when the sword chi was shattered, there was a miserable and horrified voice. Fang Chen slashed again and again. Every time he slashed, a sword chi would be completely destroyed. The Sky Sword Peak Master, who was standing not far behind him, was completely stunned. He had been trapped in the Dark Sword Mound for so long and knew nothing about the outside world. Naturally, he didn't know how strong Fang Chen was now. Go! In the chaotic battle, Fang Chen's voice came into the ears of the Sky Sword Peak Master. Seeing this, the latter didn't stay any longer. He took advantage of the gap created by Fang Chen to escape. At this moment, the Dark Sword Mound seemed to have undergone earth-shaking changes. In the center, the ground shook and a shocking battle sword broke out of the ground. As soon as the battle sword appeared, all the other sword chi around it. Samsara? Fang Chen was shocked. His pupils suddenly shrank. He felt the power of samsara in the battle sword. Let's go. He seemed to have realized something. Without thinking, he turned around and left. At this moment, the Sky Sword Peak Master had already escaped from the Dark Sword Mound. He turned around and found that Fang Chen was engulfed by a terrifying aura. No, the Sky Sword Peak Master shouted desperately. He wanted to turn around and save Fang Chen. Don't worry about me. You go first. I'm fine. Fang Chen's voice came into his ears. The Sky Sword Peak Master gritted his teeth and continued to escape. Is the Dark Sword Mound the entrance to the reincarnation road? Fang Chen was shocked. The battle sword in the center of the sword mound was too terrifying. It released the aura of the reincarnation road. In front of it, the power of the reincarnation knife was restrained. He couldn't move his body. He saw the dense sword chi being swallowed by the battle sword. In the end, there seemed to be an ancient laughter coming from the battle sword. Then, Fang Chen felt a strong suction force. He was instantly sucked into the ground under the battle sword. Boom! The dark sword mound completely collapsed. Thousands of remnant thoughts disappeared. The dark sword chi also quickly dissipated and spread to the nest of the no-demon cult. In the demonic mountains, the Sky Sword Peak Master, who had just escaped, heard countless screams. Her! The protector of the no-demon cult, who was fighting with Lady Qing, didn't care so much. He turned around and rushed into the nest. At this time, the celestial sacrificial array collapsed. Lady Qing glanced at the Sky Sword Peak Master, grabbed him, and disappeared in the demonic mountains. Damn it! Soon, the protector of the no-demon cult roared angrily in the demonic mountains. His face was ferocious and burning with anger. Heaven-defying alliance, you will pay the price. The protector of the no-demon cult looked at the ruined nest and the collapsed Dark Sword Mound. The Dark Sword Mound is broken. The reincarnation road has appeared. The battle of Deity Fall will come again. At the same time, he muttered. Just wait. It won't be long before the no-demon cult rises again. Chapter 3607. On this day, what happened in the demonic mountain range swept through the entire Godsfall battlefield. All the martial artists felt a tremor from the depths of their hearts. The legend of the reincarnation road spread again. Some of the surviving experts from the ancient times turned pale when they heard the words reincarnation road. They seemed to have recalled something. Not long after, another explosive news came out. When the reincarnation road appeared, the world would change. The last time the reincarnation road appeared was when the Godsfall battle began. For a time, everyone was in a state of panic. Myriad Dao World, Dao Palace. Qing Jun's avatar escaped the demonic mountain range with the Sky Sword Peak Master and returned to the outer sect of the Heaven-defying alliance. However, when the Sky Sword Peak Master learned of what happened while he was trapped in the Dark Sword Tomb, he immediately set off for the Myriad Dao World. In a magnificent hall, Elder Black and Elder White looked at Qing Jun in surprise. Qing Jun? Elder Black's eyes widened. Elder White stroked his beard and sighed. I didn't expect you to survive the battle back then. Something happened in the chaos battlefield? Qing Jun cried out after a brief understanding of the situation. He didn't expect the outside world to become so chaotic. Elder Black nodded. The chaos battlefield was sealed and then disappeared. All the top powerhouses of the Godsfall battlefield were trapped inside, a conspiracy. Elder White said in a deep voice. If I'm not wrong, those demons in the chaos battlefield should want to use this opportunity to train the young Marquis. Qing Jun pondered, thinking quickly in his mind. A moment later, he took a deep breath and said, perhaps, they are planning a second Godsfall battle. Elder Black and Elder White's expressions changed. At the same time, Qing Jun also told them about Fang Chen's situation. The two looked at each other. Fang Chen obtained the opportunity of the Blood God clan? The two suddenly realized that it was so. No wonder Qing Jun would help. Elders, Fang Chen fell into the Dark Sword tomb in order to save me. You must find a way to save him. The Sky Sword Peak Master was very guilty and blamed himself. Fang Chen's potential was too great. If it wasn't for him, he might have been able to step into the primal Chaos Supreme realm in the future. My original body has always been sleeping under the ground of the demonic mountain range. I once sensed the power of reincarnation. According to my research over the years, the entrance to the path of reincarnation is most likely in the demonic mountain range. Qing Jun slowly said, moreover, the no-demon cult should also know this, so they built their lair there. What's with the Dark Sword Mound? The black and white elders were confused. All these years, they had been searching for the no-demon cult's lair, but they had failed time and time again. They didn't expect that they were actually hiding here. They must have used some kind of powerful force to conceal their auras. There are broken swords everywhere in the Dark Sword Mound. These broken swords are infused with the remnant resentment of the ancient times. They are extremely evil. I was trapped inside and was ravaged by the broken swords every day. The reason why the protector of the no-demon cult didn't kill him was that he wanted him to submit to the no-demon cult, and then use his position in the heaven-defying alliance to overthrow it. After Fang Chen entered the Dark Sword Mound, he fought fiercely with many broken swords with the samsara knife in his hand. Finally, he walked to the center of the Dark Sword Mound. He seemed to have cut open the core of the Dark Sword Mound with his knife. A terrifying power emerged there. I couldn't resist it at all, so I retreated. Now that he thought about it, that terrifying power was exactly the same as the aura of the samsara knife. Could this so-called Dark Sword Mound be the legendary entrance to the path of reincarnation? Qing Jun muttered. At that time, he was focused on resisting the celestial sacrificial array and fighting with the protector of the no-demon cult. He had no time to check the situation in the Dark Sword Mound, so he didn't know the details. But according to the description of the Sky Sword Peak Master, his guess was most likely true. In the end, they carefully analyzed every detail and came to a conclusion. Fang Chen used the samsara knife to cut open the Dark Sword Mound. The entrance to the path of reincarnation appeared and he fell into it. Elder Black looked worried. After all, that was the legendary path of reincarnation. Even an invincible sage wouldn't dare to touch it easily. It's a miracle that Fang Chen can get the samsara knife. Maybe it's not a bad thing that he fell into the path of reincarnation. Instead, it's an opportunity for him. Elder White was relatively optimistic. Qing Jun was silent. In any case, it was absolutely impossible to rescue Fang Chen. Even if he came in person, it was impossible to bring him out of the path of reincarnation. Now, he could only pin his hopes on Fang Chen himself. Fang Chen is very special. He has the perfect bloodline and also has the supreme skill. I think he must have obtained a heaven-defying opportunity. After thinking for a moment, Qing Jun said, his potential is rare. Even I am not as good as him in the same realm. And he also got the samsara knife in the demonic mountains. This means that there are secrets related to the path of reincarnation on him. Qing Jun analyzed that Fang Chen should not die so easily. Alas, I hope he will be blessed. Elder Black and Elder White sighed. If the leader was here, there might be a chance. The nest of the no-demon cult has been destroyed. Their painstaking efforts have been destroyed. They will definitely fall into madness. We should be on guard. Qing Jun changed the topic. At present, no one could solve Fang Chen's problem. Instead of wasting time, it was better to think about how to deal with the remnants of the no-demon cult, as well as the young Marquis and his group who came out of the chaotic battlefield. Our Dao Palace will cooperate with other forces to attack the no-demon cult. As long as they dare to show up, we will kill them without mercy. Elder Black said. Elder White also nodded in agreement. The matter of the no-demon cult is still under control. What I am most worried about is the confrontation in the demonic Skyfire domain. The young Marquis behind the young Marquis is most likely the person behind the disappearance of the chaotic battlefield. It's not too difficult for us to deal with the young Marquis and his group. What I am worried about is that once the young Marquis is killed, will young Marquis come out of the chaotic battlefield? Elder White's eyes flickered. Hiss. At this moment, Qing Jun's body suddenly began to fade away. I used too much strength before, and my incarnation can't support it. Qing Jun said, my original body is too seriously injured and can't wake up in a short time. I need to borrow some special bloodlines. You too. Don't worry, we will definitely help you find these special bloodlines. Elder Black and Elder White nodded. Buzz. Qing Jun's incarnation dissipated with the wind. Elder Black and Elder White stared ahead and did not speak for a long time. In the void where darkness and coldness coexisted, there was no end in sight. Everywhere was grey. After Fang Chen was sucked into the core of the Darksword Mound, he instantly felt dizzy. When he opened his eyes, he found that he had appeared in an extremely strange place. He felt the samsara knife trembling, and at the same time, he felt the aura in the void. What a strong samsara power is this place? Combined with his previous guess, Fang Chen's breathing was a little rapid. The Reincarnation Road. Chapter 3608. Since ancient times, even the peak mighty figures would turn pale at the mention of the Reincarnation Road. In their opinion, the Reincarnation Road involved two complicated things, and it was very likely to be related to the Chaos Supremacy. Once one was tainted by karma, one might die on the Reincarnation Road in the future. Rumor had it that the Reincarnation Road was connected to the underworld. After a martial artist died, as long as his soul did not disperse, he could be reincarnated. Only the experts who had reached the five elements sacred realm had the opportunity to step on the Reincarnation Road after death. Walking on the Reincarnation Road could give one a great opportunity. Moreover, the most important thing was that when one was reincarnated at the end of the Reincarnation Road, he could carry what he had learned in his previous life. The boundless Reincarnation Road was grey everywhere. The reincarnation saber in Fang Chen's hand flickered with a strange light. The power of the reincarnation saber spread out, perfectly merging with the aura of the Reincarnation Road. The reincarnation knife was held horizontally in front of his chest. It vaguely formed a reincarnation armor around Fang Chen, resisting the powerful corrosive power from the Reincarnation Road. Since ancient times, the mighty figures would turn pale at the mention of it. What secrets are hidden on the Reincarnation Road? Fang Chen steadied himself and carefully moved forward to check it out. Now that he was trapped in the Reincarnation Road, it was almost impossible for him to go back. Instead of being trapped here, it was better to take the initiative to explore. Whoosh! With the reincarnation knife in hand, Fang Chen almost didn't encounter any danger. He moved forward. Bang! After walking for about an hour, a crisp sound suddenly came from under his feet. He looked down and was surprised to find that he had just kicked a corpse. A corpse? Fang Chen looked at it carefully. The corpse had been baptized by the aura of death for a long time, and it had become dilapidated. He could barely see that it should have been a human when it was alive. Fang Chen fiddled with the incomplete corpse with the reincarnation knife. With a crack, the corpse directly shattered and scattered on the ground. What's that? He found that an ancient character was engraved on a piece of bone. There's a character. Fang Chen's pupils followed closely as he cried out in surprise. The Reincarnation Road was known to be able to annihilate everything. The aura of death here could even cleanse the world. Even after passing through endless years, the corpse still couldn't resist the corrosion and was badly damaged. However, the words carved on the corpse were incomparably clear, as if they weren't affected in the slightest. A human qualified to enter the reincarnation road must have been an expert when he was alive. Fang Chen muttered to himself. He carefully observed the ancient characters and finally determined that they belonged to the ancient chaos era. Ancient chaos? That was an era that was even darker than the ancient times, and even more ancient. Is this corpse an expert from the ancient chaos era? Fang Chen's heartbeat quickened. He could feel how extraordinary the reincarnation road was. At the same time, he was even more alarmed. It was truly rare for a corpse from the ancient chaos era to be able to survive until now. This person must have been a peak expert when he was alive. Fang Chen took a deep breath. His samsara knife carefully removed the broken bones that were blocking the ancient characters, and then he studied them carefully. He searched through his memories and finally recognized this word. Bastard. Fang Chen frowned and racked his brains. The word bastard was engraved on the bones. What did it represent? At the same time, he also recalled the ancient books about the ancient chaos era that he had read in the Taoist palace. He wanted to check if there was an expert with the name Bastard in that era. This investigation really gave him a fright. Bastard! Fang Chen almost screamed. Because the truth was too shocking. If the skeleton in front of him was really Venerable Hun Yi from the ancient chaos era, it would be too shocking. Fang Chen trembled. He wanted to leave this troublesome place as soon as possible. Swoosh. However, at this moment, the skeleton engraved with the word bastard suddenly moved. Then, it shot toward him and quickly disappeared between his eyebrows. Ah! Fang Chen let out a miserable scream. He held his head with both hands and was in great pain. Buzz. At the same time, the perfect bloodline also operated crazily to expel the skeleton. The word bastard on the skeleton emitted a dazzling light. Fang Chen felt his mind shake. Then, it was filled with dense information. After a long time, he stabilized his body and his mind calmed down. Is it really Venerable Hun Yi? Fang Chen was shocked. He did not expect his guess to be true. At this moment, he finally understood why Venerable Hun Yi's skeleton entered between his eyebrows. It was because of the blood essence of the blood god tribe. So that was it. Soon, Fang Chen came to a realization. Venerable Hun Yi was a top expert at the end of the ancient chaos era. He was close friends with the ancestor of the blood god tribe. This skeleton engraved with the word bastard contained all the power of Venerable Hun Yi. Therefore, after sensing the blood essence of the blood god tribe, it entered between Fang Chen's eyebrows. Venerable Hun Yi? You want me to take you away? Fang Chen tried to talk to the skeleton, but there was no response. Soon, Fang Chen gave up. No matter what method he used, the skeleton remained indifferent. Do you want me to take you to the end of the reincarnation road? As soon as he said this, the skeleton moved. Fang Chen was speechless. The reincarnation road was too mysterious and too dangerous. With his strength, he would definitely be in danger after entering the depths. At that time, even the reincarnation knife could not protect him. Not to mention the end of the reincarnation road. Only the supreme masters of the chaos dared to go to such a dangerous place. Fang Chen shook his head as if he wanted to refuse, but there was a fluctuation in the skeleton. What? Venerable Hun Yi told Fang Chen that no one had ever set foot on the reincarnation road with their physical body. He was the first. There were only two choices in front of him. Either he risked his life to go to the end of the reincarnation road and be reborn together, or he died on the reincarnation road. Since ancient times, anyone who entered this place had died in the outside world. Their souls were baptized on the reincarnation road and then they were reborn. Fang Chen wanted to cry but had no tears. He was forced to enter. Isn't there any other way? Fang Chen asked. The skeleton vibrated, transmitting a message. Fang Chen was a little disappointed. Was he really going to die on the reincarnation road? Once he died on the reincarnation road, he would die for real and would never be reborn. Ding, ding. Suddenly, a crisp sound was heard. Fang Chen was shocked. He saw a group of people coming from the thick fog in the distance. They were the Reincarnation Guardians. The Reincarnation Guardians rushed at Fang Chen with murderous intent. Fang Chen took a few steps back. The skeleton vibrated, urging him to run quickly. "Let's go." Almost at the moment when Fang Chen fled, the Reincarnation Guardians also took action. They were as fast as lightning, shuttling on the Reincarnation Road, chasing after Fang Chen. Why? While fleeing, Fang Chen was puzzled. The reincarnation knife in his hand came from the Reincarnation Guardians. At that time, the Guardians said that they would meet on the Reincarnation Road. Chapter 3609. What's going on? Fang Chen was shocked. His strength was limited on the Reincarnation Road. The power of reincarnation? Fang Chen was a little anxious. If this continued, he would definitely be caught up by the Reincarnation Guardians, and his life would be in danger. Behind him, the Reincarnation Guardians were getting faster and faster. They could almost ignore the obstruction of the thick fog and force their way through. However, Fang Chen couldn't do that. He had to rely on his own strength to block the obstruction of the thick fog, and at the same time, he had to divert his attention to resist the corrosion of the death aura. In this way, the situation was very unfavorable for him. Moo, moo, moo. While fleeing, Fang Chen found a castle in front of him. It was completely black and surrounded by the death aura. At the same time, there were strange sounds coming from it. Is that a ghost town? When he got close to the castle, Fang Chen saw countless ghosts roaming around inside the castle. Behind him, the Reincarnation Guardians were already approaching. Fang Chen gritted his teeth and prepared to rush into the ghost town. Roar! The sound of metal colliding rang out, followed by an angry roar. Fang Chen turned his head and saw a shocking scene. Killing each other? Behind them, the Reincarnation Guardians were engaged in a fierce battle. In just a few seconds, several Guardians had their bodies exploding and dying. Roar! The leading Reincarnation Guardian opened his bloody mouth and roared angrily. Those Guardians who were chasing Fang Chen were pale with fright and kept retreating. Kill! A cold voice rang out. Suddenly, a cruel battle between the Guardians broke out. The Reincarnation Guardians I met in the demonic mountains? Fang Chen was stunned. Are there factions among the Reincarnation Guardians? Why are there two teams killing each other? Crack! When the last Guardian was killed, the Guardian who had talked to Fang Chen turned around and grinned at Fang Chen. You have stepped onto the Reincarnation Road. The Guardian's voice was slightly hoarse. The reincarnation knife in Fang Chen's hand flew into his hand uncontrollably. Immediately, the reincarnation defense on his body collapsed, and the death aura eroded him. He was bleeding from his 7 orifices. Fortunately, at the critical moment, his bones shook, and Venerable Han Yi helped him block the death aura. Who are you? Fang Chen tried his best to calm the shock in his heart and asked. Why did we meet in the demonic mountains? Why did the Guardian leave the reincarnation knife to him? Why did we meet here? Countless questions arose in his mind. Fang Chen stared at the Guardian and realized that he was somewhat different from the other Guardians. There were 3 layers of inscription marks on his forehead. The Guardian behind him only had 2 layers on his forehead. I am a reincarnation Guardian. Guardian. Did you deliberately leave the reincarnation saber in the demonic mountain range to lure me here? Fang Chen continued asking. Fang Chen was puzzled. At this time, Venerable Han Yi sent a message to Fang Chen, telling him that there was indeed a peak-level expert at the end of the Reincarnation Road who could control everything on the Reincarnation Road. Moreover, this peak-level expert was suspected to be related to the Battle of Gods. Fang Chen secretly asked, "What's the realm of that peak-level expert?" Venerable Han Yi was silent for a long time and then answered with 2 words. Supreme. Chaotic Supreme. Is there really a Chaotic Supreme? Fang Chen exclaimed, and his heart was in turmoil. Didn't they say that the Chaotic Supreme also died in the Battle of Gods? He has died. Venerable Han Yi said. As for the specific situation, he didn't know. Because he only heard about it from hearsay. In other words, the Reincarnation Road existed before the ancient chaos. That peak-level expert at the chaotic supreme realm has already appeared. Fang Chen sighed. This news was too shocking. Venerable Hun Yi didn't say anything, which was a tacit agreement. Fang Chen sorted out his thoughts and then asked, "Is there any power in the world that can make the peak-level expert at the end of the reincarnation road afraid? Even if the chaotic supreme took action, it was impossible to destroy the reincarnation road, right? On the path of martial arts, you have to be respectful. This world isn't as simple as you think." The guardian with 3 layers of inscriptions said, "Your bloodline, body, and primordial spirit have all reached the standard. You are the undisputed #1 genius of this era and have the chance to step into the chaotic supreme realm. That's why the Supreme chose you." In fact, when Fang Chen stepped into the demonic mountain range, the peak-level expert at the end of the reincarnation road already knew everything. Later, the appearance of the reincarnation guardian and what he said to Fang Chen were all under his control. Then, what happened just now? Fang Chen asked. Since the chaotic ancient era, no living person has been able to step onto the reincarnation road with a body. You are the first. Some guardians are greedy for your flesh and blood, so they risked their lives to kill you. For the reincarnation guardian, the flesh and blood of living creatures were too tempting. But don't worry. As long as you agree to work for the supreme realm, no one can threaten your life on the reincarnation road, the guardian with 3 layers of inscriptions said. Fang Chen heard the threat in his words. If he didn't agree, it would be very difficult for him to pass the reincarnation road. What do I need to do? Fang Chen asked. At this point, he could only agree. Since the supreme realm had chosen him, he definitely wouldn't send him to his death. The world is about to change. When the battle of gods comes again, this world will be destroyed. At that time, the reincarnation road won't be able to stay out of it. The guardian said. What you need to do is to complete the evolution of your bloodline and transform it into the strongest bloodline in the world. Fang Chen was stunned. His bloodline was already known as the strongest and most perfect bloodline in the world, but your bloodline should have been inherited from the bloodline king and the blood cavalry saint, right? Fang Chen was shocked. They died a long time ago. Now, they are at the end of the reincarnation road, following the supreme realm to cultivate. The perfect bloodline they spent their entire lives researching is just a part of the supreme realm's plan. They were also the executors of the supreme realm's plan. Fang Chen was completely confused. He had heard too many secrets today and was shocked to the extreme. Your bloodline is still not completely perfect. A true perfect bloodline is the undisputed #1 bloodline in the world. It can evolve the bloodlines of all races in the world and crush all bloodlines at the deepest level. It is the ancestor of all bloodlines, the guardian said. There were still impurities in Fang Chen's bloodline. To the outside world, it was already perfect. But in the Supreme Realm's plan, it wasn't perfect enough to deal with the crisis that affected the reincarnation road. Roar. Behind him, the haunted house in the city of death roared, waking Fang Chen up. He came back to his senses, but his heart was still trembling. Chapter 36:10. Countless roars came from the ghost city behind him. Those unknown haunted houses had ferocious faces and opened their bloody mouths as if they wanted to rush out of the ghost city. However, there was a powerful seal around the ghost city. Every time they approached the gate, they would suffer a powerful backlash. Crack. Just now, a human-shaped ghost smelled fresh blood and rushed out of the city. However, when it touched the city wall, its originally illusory body was instantly struck by lightning and sent flying. Rumble. In the dark sky, a bolt of lightning as thick as an arm swooped down and bombarded the body of the human-shaped ghost. Its body couldn't resist the explosive power of the lightning at all. Fang Chen's pupils shrank and he was a little shocked. If he wasn't mistaken, this ghost city's method should be from the great sovereign at the end of the reincarnation road. Ghosts were evil and were innately afraid of the power of Yang, and the lightning just happened to be a threat to them. When the lightning dissipated, the ghost city gradually calmed down. Many ghosts began to retreat and looked out of the city with fear. Fang Chen was shocked. The city you see is called the Dark Ghost City. It was personally refined by the great sovereign. The guardian with 3 layers of inscriptions said in a low voice, "This is actually a weapon that the great sovereign used in the past." Fang Chen was dumbfounded. The ghost city in front of him was actually a weapon? Wasn't the great sovereign too strong? It was unimaginable. If the great sovereign could leave the reincarnation road, then who in the world could stop his footsteps? Whoosh! Fang Chen took a deep breath and tried to calm himself down. Then, his gaze fell on the guardian again. The latter pointed at the ghosts in the ghost city and said, "The dark ghost city is very special. It can restrict the power of ghosts. Moreover, with the great sovereign's work, there are powerful restrictions around it. It's impossible for them to escape." At the same time, he also told Fang Chen that the ghosts trapped in the ghost city were basically people who had committed heinous crimes when they were alive. When they entered the reincarnation road, they would be banished to the ghost city by the great sovereign. In the ghost city, there were no cultivation resources and no reincarnation power that could nourish the soul. Therefore, they were trapped in the ghost city and could only die and never be reincarnated. Of course, the great sovereign also left them a chance to live. A chance to live? Fang Chen listened attentively. However, the guardian had already changed the subject. After saying so much, "Are you willing to become a part of the great senior's plan?" Fang Chen stared blankly. Were they willing? Did he have any other choice? When he entered the reincarnation road, he had already become a chess piece in the hands of the great sovereign. No matter how he struggled, it was useless. That was a grandmaster, a legendary peak expert, an old antique who could control the reincarnation road. He could guess that a single thought from the Grand Monarch could scatter his soul and kill him completely. Do I have any other choice? After pondering for a moment, Fang Chen smiled bitterly. The protector nodded. You should feel proud. Since ancient times, very few people have been able to enter the eyes of the great sovereign. For you to be chosen by the great sovereign is truly not easy. In fact, there was one more thing the guardian didn't say. That was, if he refused the great sovereign, then he would definitely not be able to walk out of the path of reincarnation alive. Fang Chen chose to agree. He had thought for a long time. He thought of the bloodline monarch and the blood cavalry saint. His perfect bloodline was inherited from the bloodline monarch. Then, in the God Corpse abyss where the blood cavalry saint had fallen, he had strengthened it further. Finally, relying on his own efforts, he had transformed to his current state. However, he didn't expect that the bloodline monarch and the blood cavalry saint would be cultivating in the path of reincarnation. Then, can I see the two of them? Fang Chen asked. The guardian shook his head. Although the two of them have fallen, their understanding of the perfect bloodline has reached a certain level. They will be of great help to the great sovereign's plan. They are currently cultivating with the great sovereign. For the time being, no one can see them. Fang Chen felt a little regretful. Since you have agreed, then the most urgent thing you need to do is to increase your strength as soon as possible. The guardian grinned. Your current realm is a little low. He pointed to the ghost city behind Fang Chen and said, "Not long ago, the great sovereign sent an instruction to let you enter the ghost city to temper yourself and break through. When you can sound the bell and drum, you will have completed the initial task." Fang Chen stared. Standing outside the city, he could feel the extremely terrifying gloomy aura inside the ghost city. There were also those heinous villains in their previous life. If a living person like him entered, he would definitely be besieged. The ghost city is very special. It suppresses their souls, causing their strength to be greatly reduced. Even the half-step supremacy powerhouses who had touched the threshold of the supremacy realm when they were alive can't display their full strength. The guardian explained. Hearing this, Fang Chen's eyes lit up. If they could only display the strength of a ninth order saint, then they really wouldn't be much of a threat to him. Don't be careless. Hundreds of millions of ghosts are trapped in the dark ghost city, but not many can survive. The guardian reminded. Those who could survive the fierce battle were almost invincible existences in the same realm. Moreover, the most important thing was that their souls were gradually adapting to the atmosphere of the dark ghost city. This point couldn't be underestimated. Moreover, the guardian also told him that there were several invincible ghosts in the depths of the ghost city. However, they were all in seclusion, trying their best to sound the bell and drum. As long as one didn't provoke them, it wouldn't be a big deal. Do you understand? The guardian asked. Fang Chen nodded. He had a preliminary understanding of the Dark Ghost City's situation. Oh, right, I almost forgot to tell you. In the Dark Ghost City, no matter who it is, as long as they can sound the bell and drum, they can obtain the death substitute talisman given by the Great Sovereign. Moreover, they can obtain the chance to reincarnate. Death substitute talisman. Fang Chen was shocked. This was really a big deal. They even took out such a rare talisman from ancient times. This was getting more and more interesting. So, if I sound the bell and drum, I can also obtain the death substitute talisman? The guardian nodded. Fang Chen grinned. The death substitute talisman, as the name implied, was a talisman that could replace a person's life. If one encountered an irresistible force and their life was in danger, they could crush the death substitute talisman to resist the force. Unless the primal chaos supreme personally made a move, no one could ignore the death substitute talisman. In other words, having the death substitute talisman was equivalent to having an extra life. Fang Chen was very interested in the death substitute talisman. I've said what I need to say. Prepare to enter the Dark Ghost City, the guardian said. Crash. Before Fang Chen could react, he felt his vision turn black. In the next moment, he felt an overwhelming gloomy aura pressing down on him. I hope you can succeed. Chapter 36:11. In the Dark Ghost City. The streets were dark, and all the buildings were illusory. As soon as Fang Chen entered the city, he felt a majestic force suppressing his primordial spirit. Huh! Fang Chen was shocked. His primordial spirit had reached the peak of the elixir realm and was only one step away from the nascent soul realm. But now, his primordial spirit was compressed and finally sealed. What a terrible dark force! Fang Chen exclaimed. Is this the legendary Dark Death Chi? Roar. Not far away, a black eagle found Fang Chen. It smelled fresh blood, opened its bloody mouth, roared angrily, and then spread its wings and rushed directly to Fang Chen. Rip! Fang Chen was caught off guard and was bitten by the black eagle. His clothes were torn and tattered. He punched the black eagle and forced it back. Then, his figure flashed and disappeared into the darkness. Kill. The black eagle's sense of smell was so sensitive that it immediately found Fang Chen's hiding place and launched an attack. Human. The black eagle spoke and looked at Fang Chen with greedy eyes. I, Venerable Eagle, feel fresh flesh and blood in you. Give me your body and I can guarantee your safety. The black eagle in front of him was also a peak expert when it was alive. Fang Chen felt a strong evil force from it. Seeing the black eagle flying over, Fang Chen took out the samsara knife and slashed at it. Ah! A miserable shriek came from the black eagle's mouth. Its wings had been cut off by the samsara blade. Although its body was illusory, it still suffered serious injuries after being hit by the samsara blade. Stupid human, you entered the Dark Ghost City alone. Do you think you can survive? The black eagle also knew that if it delayed any longer, it would have nothing to do with the other ghosts when they arrived. I, the Eagle Venerable, have been trapped in the Dark Ghost City for 900 million years. During this period of time, I have experienced blood and fire, and my body and soul were almost destroyed. In the end, I still managed to survive in a life and death struggle. If I can devour this person's flesh and blood, I will definitely be able to break through the shackles and once again touch the threshold of supremacy. At that time, I will definitely be able to sound the bell and drum. Thinking of this, the greed in the black figure's eyes intensified. It dragged its injured body and attacked Fang Chen. Wang. Up in the sky, a small mountain appeared out of nowhere, carrying with it boundless power as it pressed down. In the blink of an eye, it was right above Fang Chen's head. Suppressing the body? When Fang Chen noticed this, he flipped his hand and slashed out with his saber. Crack! The small mountain was split into two halves and collapsed in midair. After fighting with the Black Shadow, Fang Chen found that the samsara knife was very effective in restraining these ghosts. Taking advantage of this, he held the samsara knife and kept pressuring the Black Shadow. Soon, he suppressed the Black Shadow. Crack! Saber after saber landed on the black figure's body. Miserable shrieks rang out incessantly. When the last slash landed, the black shadow was completely dead. Its body collapsed, and its soul floated in midair. Boom! Fire fell from the sky, rolled up the black shadow's soul, and began to burn it. Is this hellfire? According to legend, hellfire was born from heaven and earth, and it was specially used to punish the heinous people on the reincarnation road. The more evil a person was, the more vigorous the hellfire would be. Whoosh! Whoosh! Hellfire soared into the sky and spread over 1/10 of the dark ghost city. When Fang Chen saw it, he was speechless. Such a vast hellfire could burn the soul. It could be imagined how many evil things Venerable Eagle had done when he was alive. The hellfire was so strong that no ghost could resist it. When Venerable Eagle's soul was completely burned, the appearance of the hellfire caused a tremor in the dark ghost city. It must be that damned human. He attracted the hellfire and wants to destroy us. No, we have been fighting for hundreds of millions of years for transcendence. He wants to cut off our path to reincarnation? Impossible. Damn it, he deserves to die. Fang Chen angered everyone. All the ghosts roared angrily. When the hellfire disappeared, they began to attack Fang Chen. Whoosh! 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 Soon, the place where Venerable Eagle died was shrouded in a dense crowd of ghosts. It's Venerable Eagle. Some ghosts sensed the remaining aura in the void and guessed that the dead ghost should be Venerable Eagle. Everyone searched and found that Fang Chen had already escaped. They began to attack him crazily. In a dark corner somewhere, Fang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. He used the reincarnation knife to cover his aura so that the ghosts couldn't sense his flesh and blood. In this environment, I'm in a passive position and at a disadvantage. Fang Chen pondered. He wasn't afraid of fighting alone, but he was a little worried when facing the encirclement of so many ghosts. The special power in the dark ghost city suppressed his primordial spirit, causing his strength to decrease. His body also felt the suppression. If this went on, his body wouldn't be able to resist the erosion of the ghost city. I need a foolproof plan. Fang Chen pondered. These ghosts are afraid of the reincarnation knife, but they are also eager to get it, the skeleton of Venerable Han Yi said. Fang Chen's mind jolted as he asked subconsciously. Compared to the ghosts in the dark ghost city, Venerable Han Yi was a failure. He didn't even survive the battle at the entrance of the reincarnation road. His soul dissipated, leaving only a skeleton and a trace of remnant consciousness. Relatively speaking, he knew the reincarnation road better than Fang Chen. These ghosts exist in the state of spirits. In fact, it's their souls that maintain this state. You just saw that the hellfire can burn their souls, Venerable Han Yi said. They're afraid that the reincarnation knife will attract the hellfire, but they're also eager to try to control the reincarnation knife. That was because once they succeeded in controlling it, it meant that they could summon the karmic fire to burn other ghosts. Moreover, they would have a chance to sound the bell. What do you mean? Fang Chen rolled his eyes. Capture a ghost first, then set up a tactical deployment to attract more ghosts. Kill them, attract the hellfire, and catch them all in one fell swoop. Fang Chen slapped the table and applauded. This is really a good idea. But the problem was that he was now hated by everyone. Once he showed up, he would definitely be besieged. How could he capture a ghost without anyone noticing? The biggest problem now is that if they stay together, what should I do? I can't stay in this stalemate forever, can I? The power contained in the reincarnation knife was limited. Once it was used up, he would have nowhere to hide. He was already in such a difficult situation when the invincible ghosts in the depths of the ghost city were in seclusion. Humph, they were all super experts in charge of a region when they were alive. They each have their own ulterior motives. They can't always stay together. There will be a time when they are alone. Venerable Han Yi had a deep understanding. I can give it a try. After weighing the pros and cons, Fang Chen nodded. If he succeeded, the following days would be easy. If he failed, he would not have a peaceful day. He would be besieged by many ghosts and his life would be in danger. But now, he had no other choice. I'll hone myself and improve my strength. Chapter 36:12. After sorting out his thoughts, Fang Chen believed that Venerable Hun Yi's idea could be implemented. "I'm going to set up a formation here," Fang Chen whispered. Then, he made a Taoist seal with both hands and began to carefully set up the formation. The Mystic Fire Formation was a fire-type formation. The foundation of the formation was built with the origin of fire. In the end, the 108 foundations merged together to form the core of the formation. It seemed simple, but it was actually difficult to set up. However, for Fang Chen at this stage, it was still very easy. First of all, his comprehension of the origin of fire had reached a very high level, and he could control the power of the origin of fire at will. Secondly, his attainments in formations could at least be ranked in the top 10 in the entire Godsfall battlefield. Those ranked above him were basically the top giants of the Godsfall battlefield or the masters of formations who had survived from ancient times. Whoosh! Whoosh! He covered his aura with the Samsara knife and cut off the connection between this space and the Dark Ghost City. Then, he quickly set up the formation. 108 flames surged out of his body and turned into fire dragons. They drilled into the ground from different directions and formed the foundation of the formation. "Condense!" Fang Chen shouted in a low voice. The power of the formation gathered and formed the core of the formation. The fire spread and enveloped this void. "It's done." Fang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. The Mystic Fire Formation had been successfully set up. Next, he only needed to catch a lone ghost, and the plan would be half done. However, there was still a problem in front of him. The Samsara knife cut through the void and cut off the connection between the Mystic Fire Formation and the Dark Ghost City. Once he took it away, the Mystic Fire Formation would be discovered. Then, he could only give up the Samsara knife and look for the lone ghost alone. Fang Chen was in a bit of a dilemma. Without the Samsara knife to cover his aura, he would be discovered by the ghosts and besieged. "What should I do?" Fang Chen frowned and pondered. "Damn human, you are my prey. You can't escape." At this moment, a voice came. Fang Chen was stunned and then overjoyed. It was like a pillow being sent when he was sleepy. He was just worrying, but in the blink of an eye, a ghost came to him. Fang Chen's mind stirred. He controlled the Samsara knife and released a trace of aura. Immediately, the ghost found something strange. What was that flame just now?" The human-shaped ghost quickly stepped forward and asked doubtfully. "Could it be karmic fire?" Suddenly, he came to a realization. Oh no, it must be that human who came in with his physical body. He killed the ghost and attracted the karmic fire. Thinking of this, the human-shaped ghost rushed into the Mystic Fire Formation in a flash. Boom! The Mystic Fire Array was activated instantly, and this space was sealed. "Human." The human-shaped ghost scanned the Mystic Fire Formation and sneered, "You dare to fight your ghost grandpa with such little tricks?" As soon as he finished speaking, the human-shaped ghost opened his palm and a blood-red dart appeared. The dart emitted a terrifying bloody aura. For a moment, Fang Chen was eroded by the terrifying baleful aura and fell into an illusion. Fortunately, he was in the Mystic Fire Formation. He quickly dispelled the corrosive baleful aura and walked out of the illusion. He could not help but sigh. The blood-red dart must have grown after being bathed in the blood of the 10,000 races in the universe. Otherwise, it could not possess such a strong murderous aura. This is, in his mind, the skeleton of Supremacy. Hun Yi vibrated and said angrily. "Flying escort god, he's the flying escort god. Damn it, he's here." One could tell that Supremacy Hun Yi was furious. "What's going on?" Fang Chen asked. Not long after, he came to a realization. He did not expect to meet Supremacy Hun Yi's enemy while waiting. Ancient chaos? Fang Chen did not expect that the human-shaped ghost trapped in the Mystic Fire Formation was actually an expert of the ancient chaos, and the famous flying escort god at that time. This guy cultivates demonic arts and uses the blood of the 10,000 races in the universe to nurture his blood dart. Back then, he was greedy for my treasure and attacked me, almost causing me to go berserk. After that, I searched for him for countless years, but I could not find him. Supremacy Hun Yi said coldly. Swoosh. The human-shaped ghost activated the blood-red dart and the baleful aura burst out like a flood, instantly engulfing the entire mystic fire formation. Hiss, hiss, hiss. In the mystic fire formation, the power of the origin of fire was blocking the baleful aura of the lotus. At the same time, Fang Chen activated the samsara knife, quietly approached the human-shaped ghost, and then slashed at it. Ah! With a scream, the flying escort god was hit by the samsara knife. Frightened and angry, he took back the blood dart and completely activated it, trying to suppress Fang Chen. Go to hell! A terrible black hole appeared around the blood dart, and a space storm appeared, as if to sweep the mystic fire formation away. This blood dart was originally condensed by the flesh and blood of a giant of the demonic arts in the ancient chaos period. Later, it was nurtured by the flying escort god with the blood of the 10,000 races in the universe. It's an out-and-out supreme treasure of the demonic arts. Even the origin holy weapon can't compare with it. Supremacy Han Yi reminded, now, we have to suppress the blood dart before we can control the flying escort god. After all, they were rivals in the same period. Supremacy Han Yi knew the flying escort god like the back of his hand and had a good eye for the blood dart. Thump! Supremacy Han Yi's skeleton vibrated, and a ray of light fell. Finally, it broke out of his body and floated in front of Fang Chen. I once cultivated a secret method that can temporarily restrain the evil aura in the blood dart. I've already condensed it in this ray of light, but it can only hold on for 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Fang Chen pondered and then nodded. 3 seconds was enough. Break. Under Supremacy Han Yi's command, the ray of light burst out, passed through the space storm, and drilled into the black hole, instantly covering the blood dart. Buzz. The blood dart, which was full of evil aura, was instantly imprisoned. Huh! Seeing this, the flying escort god roared with a ferocious face. Right at this moment, Fang Chen moved. He fully activated the mystic fire formation and burned the flying escort god with the power of the origin of fire. At the same time, he kept hacking with the samsara knife. Crack! Before the 3 seconds were up, he severely injured the flying escort god with the samsara knife. Bang! The flying escort god's body was scattered by Fang Chen. The ray of light dissipated, and the blood dart touched the imprisonment. But without the support of the soaring power, the light quickly dimmed and it fell to the ground. Fang Chen suppressed it without saying a word. This thing is really hard. He hacked with the samsara knife, but it was not damaged at all. This thing is not inferior to a carnate divine weapon. How can the samsara knife break it? But you can try to burn it with the hellfire, Supremacy Han Yi said. Damn human, if you have the guts, fight with me fairly. The flying escort god was suppressed and could not move, but he was very unwilling to give up and was extremely angry. Fight with you fairly? Fang Chen sneered. He was only a 5th-rank holy emperor. It was ridiculous for him to have a fair fight with a ghost who used to be a top expert and now had the battle strength of the peak of the 9th rank. Puff! Fang Chen cut off the flying escort god's arm with his broadsword, severely injuring his vitality and making him on the verge of death. Then, Fang Chen could carry out his plan. Not long after, when he was ready, he left the mystic fire formation alone. Boom, boom, boom. He activated the samsara knife without hesitation and hacked wildly in the void around him. In an instant, the sky fell and the earth cracked. The entire dark ghost city was shaking. The aura of the samsara knife made many ghosts discover Fang Chen. It's a human. Damn it, a human is hiding here. Human, you are my prey. Numerous ghosts madly rushed to the mystic fire formation. Let's go. Seeing that it was about time, Fang Chen decisively got into the mystic fire formation and completely closed it. Swish. A moment later, a ghost came and discovered the mystic fire formation. Damn human, you are hiding in the formation. The ghost madly attacked the mystic fire formation, but it could not break it. What's going on? More and more ghosts gathered here. Their eyes fell on the mystic fire formation. There is a very strange formation here. I've tried, but it's difficult to break it. That damn human is hiding here, a ghost said. Let me have a try. Another ghost stepped forward and madly attacked the mystic fire formation. Whoosh! A moment later, he gave up attacking with a ferocious face. This formation is set up with the power of the origin of fire as its foundation. We ghosts are most afraid of fire. Even if the origin of fire isn't karmic fire and doesn't specifically target our remnant thoughts, it can still restrain our power. A ghost analyzed. This is not a solution. We need to work together. Yes, if we work together, we can definitely break this formation. However, some ghosts were not willing to do so. There is only one human, but there are so many of us. After breaking the formation, who will get the human flesh and blood? A ghost raised an objection. At this time, the weaker ghosts also began to waver. Once the formation was broken, they were too weak and would definitely not get a share of the human flesh and blood. They might even be killed by the powerful ghosts because of this. The ghosts looked at each other with some fear. Inside the mystic fire formation, Fang Chen watched all of this and sneered. Fight. When both of you are injured, I will open the mystic fire formation and let you in. Fang Chen said, at that time, I will give you an unexpected surprise. These ghosts were unpardonably evil when they were alive. He would not feel guilty killing them. Chapter 36:13. Ghosts rushed into the mystic fire formation one after another. They roared angrily, but their eyes were full of unconcealable excitement. The competition in the Dark Ghost City was too fierce. Since ancient times, very few people had been able to sound the bell and drum and passed away. The resources were scarce. Besides, those trapped in the Dark Ghost City were all top experts. They were all proud and wanted to pass away. Therefore, it was extremely cruel. For countless years, those who were able to survive in such a cruel environment were basically the strongest ones. As long as they took a step forward, they would be able to recover their peak cultivation. Once they succeeded, they would be able to suppress the Dark Ghost City and go to the end of the reincarnation road. Therefore, in the face of Fang Chen, a living human who came in with his physical body, they naturally wanted to kill him. Kill. Some ghosts roared and frantically searched for Fang Chen's traces. Some ghosts seemed to have found something strange when they looked at the mystic fire formation carefully. Of course. Do you think a mere formation can stop us? Some of the more powerful ghosts began to attack the array formation. They had sealed off this area of the void. Even a fly would not be able to escape. As long as Fang Chen was here, he would definitely die. Human flesh is absolutely delicious. Some of the ghosts had already begun to fantasize about how they would enjoy the flesh and blood of humans. Seeing more and more ghosts in the dark, Fang Chen was secretly delighted. Here they come. The more the better, he said to himself. In just a few minutes, hundreds of ghosts rushed into the mystic fire formation. At this time, Fang Chen felt that the time was right. Because the mystic fire formation had reached its maximum capacity. Moreover, most of the ghosts in this area had entered the mystic fire formation. Flying escort god. Someone recognized the flying escort god. At this moment, the flying escort god was lying in the center of the formation, motionless. It must be that human. The ghosts quickly walked over, trying to get close to the flying escort god to check the specific situation. However, at this moment, Fang Chen suddenly appeared. With the samsara knife in his hand and a wicked smile on his face, he glanced at the ghosts. "Welcome to my world," he said coldly and raised the samsara knife in his hand. "Human, you really are here." One of the ghosts instantly arrived in front of Fang Chen. However, the latter didn't even think and directly slashed out with his saber. Crack! The reincarnation saber struck the ghost's body, instantly shattering its remnant consciousness. At the same time, the other ghosts made their move as well. They rushed towards Fang Chen, wanting to get their hands on his flesh and blood. Hellfire! Fang Chen thought to himself. Then, he brandished his samsara blade and slashed the flying escort god's body again and again. Rumble! A dark storm appeared in the sky, forming a frightening vortex. Within that vortex, frightening flames erupted. Like an erupting volcano, the karmic fire condensed into numerous fire dragons that carried endless power as they swooped down. At the same time, Fang Chen pushed the power of the mystic fire formation to the extreme. The power of the origin of fire swept through every corner of the formation. Hoo. As if it had sensed the origin of fire, the hellfire's speed became faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, the first fire dragon had already rushed into the mystic fire formation. Boom! The fire dragon condensed by the hellfire exploded when it came into contact with the ghosts. The terrifying hellfire swept through the world. Miserable screams were heard. Some ghosts were too close to the flying escort god and were instantly surrounded by the hellfire. Oh no! In the face of the hellfire, many ghosts felt fear from the bottom of their hearts. They kept retreating and crazily bombarded the mystic fire formation, trying to escape. Damn human. They did not expect that human would dare to lure so many ghosts. Run. The hellfire was too strong, and it was especially used to restrain ghosts. In the blink of an eye, the vast hellfire swept through the mystic fire formation, turning it into a sea of fire. Fang Chen controlled the sea of fire to burn the ghosts. One ghost after another fell into the sea of fire, their souls scattered. Their last hope of reincarnation was shattered. Human, let us out. Human, we were wrong before. How about we end this now? We can give you an opportunity. No, many ghosts began to beg for mercy. But it was useless. They were doomed the moment they stepped into the mystic fire formation. Whoosh, whoosh. The hellfire burned. Inside the mystic fire formation, corpses and ghosts were everywhere. So powerful. Fang Chen could not help but sigh. The hellfire might not be as good as the origin of fire, but it was really unparalleled in restraining ghosts. An hour later, the hellfire disappeared and the sky returned to normal. However, there was dead silence in the dark ghost city. Hundreds of ghosts had all died in the hellfire. The mystic fire formation was already damaged. Fang Chen stood on the ground and looked at the corpses everywhere. He quickly collected them. Those that could survive the hellfire were the essences left behind by each ghost. In a short while, he collected a large number of bones. These bones are all at the level of an invincible saint. If they are refined into weapons, it will be amazing. Fang Chen said to himself. At least, it would be a weapon at the level of an origin sacred weapon. Deep in the dark ghost city, the three powerful ghosts that were cultivating suddenly opened their eyes. The hellfire in the dark ghost city alarmed them. Who triggered the hellfire to attack us? One of the wolf-like ghosts said coldly. Over 100 ghostly beings died under the karmic fire just like that. How cruel, the human-shaped ghostly being said. The final outsider's pitch-black eyes pierced through the void and landed on Fang Chen. A human, and he even brought his body into the dark ghost city? The ghost muttered. Could it be that he came here to train? Thinking of this, the ghost stood up and took a step forward. In the next moment, it was in front of Fang Chen. Buzz. Suddenly, Fang Chen felt a horrifying pressure pressing down on him. His body was actually unable to move. He abruptly raised his head, only to see a strange ghost descending from the sky. Feeling the terrifying aura of the ghost, Fang Chen was shocked. Could it be that he had just used the mystic fire formation and the hellfire to kill hundreds of ghosts and angered those in the depths of the dark ghost city? Human. The otherworldly ghost said. The dark ghost city is completely sealed. Only the grand sage at the end of the reincarnation road can open it. How did you come in? It was the first time in countless years that someone had entered the dark ghost city with his body. Training? The ghost continued to ask. Fang Chen nodded. Strictly speaking, the Grand Sage chose me and asked me to carry out a plan. Before that, he wanted to use the Dark Ghost City to train me. As expected. The ghost said. Its guess was correct. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, the other two ghosts also came. Chapter 36:14. The three ghosts were called Ghost Lords. They were the most powerful ghosts in Dark Ghost City. The three of them almost ruled the entire Dark Ghost City. Even so, they couldn't return to their peak state, so they couldn't sound the bell and drum. The three of them usually didn't care about the cruel battles of the ghosts in Dark Ghost City. They cultivated in the depths of the city and explored the deepest level of the path of reincarnation. But now, they were attracted by the hellfire. They found a living being who brought a body into Dark Ghost City. This was the first time in nearly 10,000 years. The wolf sovereign opened his bloody mouth, wanting to devour Fang Chen. His body was emitting a fiendish aura. He was from the wolf clan and had the strongest wolf god bloodline in his body. Human. The human-shaped ghost was called Lin Zun. When he was alive, he was an almighty being surnamed Lin and possessed extraordinary strength. However, because he was wicked beyond redemption, he stole the heart blood of young boys and girls to cultivate his demonic arts. After he died, he was thrown into Dark Ghost City by the great sovereign at the end of the Samsara Road. He was greedy by nature. When he saw that Fang Chen was also a human, his eyes were full of greed. He was secretly thinking about how to take Fang Chen and find a way to leave from him. "How did you get in?" Lin Lord asked coldly. His eyes were red. Among the 3 ghost lords, the foreign ghost was the strongest. He had 1 foot in the half-step chaotic supreme realm. Now he was cultivating in Dark Ghost City and had recovered to the invincible saint realm. He had tried to sound the bell and drum and almost succeeded. In the end, due to the heinous crimes he had committed when he was alive, he was punished by the flames of karma and failed. All these years, he had been unwilling to give up and had been looking for an opportunity. Roar. The foreign ghost roared at Lin Lord and the Wolf Lord. The 2 ghost lords were frightened and kept retreating. The 2 of them gathered together and seemed to be discussing how to fight against the foreign ghost lord. Fang Chen couldn't resist the foreign ghost lord at all. He felt that he didn't even feel such pressure when facing Palace Master Lei of the Heaven-defying Alliance. Is this the pressure from a half-step chaotic supreme realm? Even though the variant Ghost Lord had been dead for countless years, his primordial spirit had once touched the threshold of the primordial spirit. It was not something an ordinary person could compare to. "Human, we can work together." The variant Ghost Lord transmitted its voice to Fang Chen. He told Fang Chen that Lin Zun and Wolf Zun were too evil and cruel. They would definitely attack him. Only by cooperating with the Ghost Zun could he survive. Fang Chen looked around, not knowing what to do. The 3 ghost lords were covered in blood-red light. Their sins were too heavy. They were all vicious and merciless people. None of them was someone he could fight against. Fang Chen's mind spun. If he could leave this place and head to the Bell and Drum region, he might have a chance at survival. Impossible. Great Sage wanted me to temper myself here, not to throw away my life. Fang Chen thought seriously. He clearly knows that there are 3 ghost lords in Dark Ghost City that I can't fight against. Why did he still insist on having me come here? Fang Chen was very puzzled. Logically speaking, this shouldn't be the case. Could it be that the guardian of the 3rd layer of inscriptions was lying? Fang Chen shook his head, denying this idea. There must be hope. Just as Fang Chen was thinking, Lin Zun and Wolf Zun suddenly roared to the sky, causing the entire Dark Ghost City to tremble. The 2 of them released a terrifying power. In the huge Dark Ghost City, all the remaining ghosts prostrated themselves on the ground, suppressed by the aura of the 2 ghost lords. "You too." The variant Ghost Lord said angrily, "So what if we join forces?" Boom. The sky fell and the earth cracked. The 3 ghost lords suddenly fought. Fang Chen kept retreating. The space was cut, and the whole battlefield seemed to be about to collapse. The Wolf Zun turned into an illusory green wolf. He roared to the sky, opened his bloody mouth, and swallowed the world. Beside him, Lin Zun's body skyrocketed. In the blink of an eye, he was 100 feet tall. The 2 ghost exalts joined hands and unleashed an extremely evil secret technique. Once the secret technique was unleashed, the many ghosts in the Dark Ghost City let out miserable shrieks. This is... Fang Chen was completely shocked. He found that the Wolf Zun and Lin Zun were setting up a vicious array. This array was crazily absorbing the power of the other ghosts to strengthen it. "Let's go." Fang Chen didn't care so much. Taking advantage of the chaotic battle between the 3 ghost lords, he quietly left this place. All the ghosts trembled. Their power was dissipating. Once they were completely sucked dry, they would disappear from the world forever. Brothers, we can't just sit here and wait for death. Someone took the lead, wanting to break the array set up by the Wolf Sun and Lin Zun. They were all powerful figures when they were alive. Naturally, they didn't want to be pawns of others. All the ghosts joined forces and attacked the terrifying array. Courting death. The Wolf Sun's bloody mouth suddenly appeared and crazily swallowed the ghosts. As for Lin Zun, he stood with his hands behind his back, confidently controlling the array. One could vaguely hear the angry roars of the variant ghost lords coming from the array. Phew! Fang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. There was no obstruction along the way. He quickly moved and arrived at the depths of Dark Ghost City in the blink of an eye. He looked up and found that there was a bell and drum tower at the top of a small mountain. There was a bell and drum on the tower. Let's go. Fang Chen didn't say anything. He jumped and arrived in front of the bell and drum tower. Dong, dong, dong. He injected his power and wanted to sound it. But a moment later, he failed. Poochie. He spat out blood. His blood was boiling, and his body was almost sent flying. Am I not strong enough? Fang Chen smiled bitterly. Since entering Dark Ghost City, he had been hunted by the ghosts. He didn't have time to cultivate. Although the process was considered training, he still didn't have a breakthrough in his realm. I feel like I'm almost there, Fang Chen said to himself. He could clearly feel that the power in his body was restless. His origin star had reached the limit. He only needed an opportunity to break through. If I use my full strength now, my combat power should be above the peak of the 9th stage. There's still a gap between me and an invincible saint. Fang Chen was calm. He was thinking. In the distance, the fierce battle was still ongoing. It seemed that the foreign ghost lords couldn't break the array, and the Wolf Lord and Lin Lord couldn't do anything to them. The 3 ghost lords were in a stalemate. Most of the other ghosts were devoured by the Wolf Lord. The remaining few hid far away and didn't dare to get close to the battlefield. Fortunately, the Wolf Lord and Lin Lord are maintaining the array and can't get away. Otherwise, they would be in trouble. Fang Chen sighed. However, this couldn't go on. He needed to think of a foolproof plan. At this moment, how about you and I work together to deal with the Wolf Lord and Lin Lord? This was the voice of the foreign ghost lord. Fang Chen was stunned. He didn't expect the foreign ghost lord to send him a message. Working with him was like working with a tiger. Fang Chen naturally wouldn't agree. Soon, the foreign ghost lord spoke again. Chapter 36:15. Fang Chen knew that cooperating with a variant ghost lord was tantamount to conspiring with a tiger. Once the variant ghost lords had a chance to breathe, they would definitely pose a threat to him. What should I do? Fang Chen was in a dilemma. If he did not cooperate with the variant ghost lords, then once the variant ghost lords were completely suppressed by the Wolf Lord and Lin Lord, the 2 ghost lords would definitely turn around and kill him. No matter what, Fang Chen was in a passive state. Blood curse. Venerable Hun Yi's skeleton trembled as he transmitted his voice. In the chaotic ancient era, there was a super powerful incantation called blood curse. This incantation is very ancient and extremely powerful. For ordinary warriors, it is basically useless. Moreover, with the strength of their soul, they can't bear the power of blood curse. Venerable Hun Yi quickly explained. But you can. Your primordial spirit has already formed a golden core and is complete. It can bear the power of the blood curse. In the ancient chaos era, when experts made a promise to each other, they would usually make a blood curse. Once the blood curse was made, the seed of the blood curse would be planted in one's body. If one broke the promise, one's soul would be destroyed instantly. This blood curse was very restrictive on experts. Fang Chen's eyes lit up and he immediately transmitted his voice to the variant ghost lord. We can cooperate, but you have to make a blood curse. Otherwise, Fang Chen expressed his attitude. If he wanted to cooperate, he had to make a blood curse. Otherwise, he would rather die. Obviously, the variant ghost lord had also heard of the blood curse. There was a hint of anger in his voice. Your primordial spirit is too weak to bear the power of the blood curse. You're courting death. The variant Ghost Lord tried to deceive Fang Chen. However, he would never dream that Fang Chen's mind had a bone of an expert from the ancient Chaos era. You still dare to deceive me at this time? I can't see your sincerity in cooperating. Let's end it here. With that, Fang Chen stopped contacting the variant Ghost Lord. Rumble. The array became smaller and smaller, leaving less and less space for the variant Ghost Lord. He did not have much time left. At this time, the variant Ghost Lord was getting more and more anxious. Lin Zun, Wolf Zun, are you two really going to do this? The variant Ghost Lord roared angrily, if you push me too far, both of you will die with me. Lin Zun sneered. The formation that they had set up together was flawless, and they were not afraid of foreign Ghost Lords at all. Of course, they needed an enormous amount of energy to maintain the formation. Therefore, they had to speed up and suppress the variant Ghost Lords. Otherwise, if they took too long, it would be easy for changes to occur. Continue suppressing them. Lin Zun and Wolf Zun looked at each other. Then, the two of them frantically activated the array formation to suppress the foreign Ghost Zun. Hiss hiss hiss. A terrifying force swept over. The variant Ghost Lord felt threatened. He punched out, wanting to block it. However, he was shocked to find that the force ignored his attack and circled around his illusory arm. Ah! A blood-curdling scream came from the mouth of the variant Ghost Lord. In the blink of an eye, one of his illusory arms was destroyed. How is this possible? He was shocked. He didn't expect this array to be so powerful. Finally, he couldn't help but contact Fang Chen again. I can cooperate with you, or I can set up a blood curse. After suppressing Wolf Zun and Lin Zun, I will not attack you. I will personally escort you out of Dark Ghost City. How about it? The anxious voice of the variant Ghost Lord sounded in Fang Chen's ears. Finally can't help it. Fang Chen looked into the distance. He could vaguely see the majestic and bloody array formation cutting through the void and suppressing the variant Ghost Lord. This array is very strange. Once it successfully cuts through the void, even if the variant Ghost Lord doesn't die, he will be seriously injured. Fang Chen murmured. At this time, he rolled his eyes and had a bold idea. No, you don't seem to understand your current situation. Fang Chen said coldly, we can cooperate, but the blood curse you set up is not that you won't attack me, but you have to obey my orders and serve me for 10,000 years. You've gone too far. The variant Ghost Lord was furious. When he was alive, he was the strongest. When had he ever been humiliated like this? He was burning with anger. If he could get out now, he would definitely slap Fang Chen to death. Unfortunately, not only could he not get out, but his situation was getting worse. I can break the array that trapped you, and I can use their array to reverse engineer it. I can make Lin Zun and Wolf Zun fall into an illusion for a short time, but it can only last for 3 seconds at most. Fang Chen continued, if you agree, I will do it now. If you don't, then pretend I didn't say anything. Fang Chen grasped the variant Ghost Lord's weakness. In a boring place like Dark Ghost City, they had fought for hundreds of millions of years for reincarnation. They valued life too much. Especially the 3 Ghost Lords, they all wanted to escape from here. Once they died, they would be completely dead. Therefore, even if Fang Chen made a very disrespectful request, the variant Ghost Lord fell into silence. Damn it. The variant Ghost Lord clenched his fists, struggling in his heart. 10,000 years, to him, was just the blink of an eye. However, he was unwilling to work for a 5th-level Holy Emperor Ant. You should know that if we cooperate, Lin Zun and Wolf Zun will most likely be suppressed by you. All the power they have gained over the years will be taken by you. At that time, maybe we will all be able to sound the bell and drum. Fang Chen tempted step by step. He believed that nothing could be more tempting than reincarnation. Crack. While he was thinking, the array shrunk again. The majestic attack smashed into the variant Ghost Lord's body, instantly shattering his other illusory arm. Ah! The variant Ghost Lord roared in anger. His power was weakening. No, I can't die here. I want to be reborn. I want reincarnation. Thinking of the bits and pieces of his life, The variant Ghost Lord clenched his teeth and made a decision. How can I believe you? Although the variant Ghost Lord was prepared to work with Fang Chen, he still had a backup plan. He did not completely trust Fang Chen. If I set a blood curse and am controlled by you, what if you attack me after I suppress Lin Zun and Wolf Zun? After the blood curse was set, his life would be completely controlled by Fang Chen. As long as the latter wanted, he would die. He would not take such a big risk. Since it's a cooperation, I will naturally make you rest assured. I will also set a blood curse. You will be under my control for 10,000 years. During this period, you will protect my safety and obey my service. Of course, I will not let you do anything that will send you to your death. Fang Chen said. After pondering for a moment, the variant Ghost Lord agreed. Okay, I promise you. Then, Fang Chen taught the blood curse technique that Venerable Hun Yi had taught him to the variant Ghost Venerable. Chapter 36:16. The blood curse technique was a very vicious spell. However, it was very simple to operate. According to the method provided by Fang Chen, the variant Ghost Lord picked up a drop of blood left by Fang Chen in the previous battle and then began to operate the blood curse technique. After a while, a blood-red light appeared on his body. A blood-red flower grew in his illusory body. This was the blood curse seed. At the same time, Fang Chen's blood merged into the blood curse seed. Dong. Fang Chen's body trembled as he sensed the life aura of the variant Ghost Lord. Is this the blood curse secret technique? Fang Chen murmured, his heart shocked. He could easily control a peak powerhouse just like that. It was terrifying. Okay, I have planted the blood curse seed, it's your turn. The variant Ghost Lord said eagerly. Because outside the formation, Lin Zun and Wolf Zun's attacks were too fierce, he had to speed up. Okay. Soon, Fang Chen also planted the blood curse seed in his body. As for the variant Ghost Lord's blood, he obtained it from his seclusion. Fang Chen was secretly delighted. The blood curse seed he planted had no effect on his body, as long as he did not attack the variant Ghost Lords for 10,000 years. And his gains were huge. He got such a powerful bodyguard for free, it was simply wonderful. Can we start? The variant Drum Lord urged. Launch a fierce attack and attract the attention of the two Ghost Lords, then follow the footwork I taught you and inject your power into several nodes of the formation. Fang Chen said telepathically. The variant Ghost Lord nodded and did as Fang Chen said. Boom. In the formation, the variant Ghost Lord roared and launched a fierce attack. In the eyes of Lin Zun and Wolf Zun, the former should be going all out. Maintain the formation, he is making the final attack. Lin Zun said. The mutated Ghost Lord attacked the array formation crazily and used its own body to resist the attacks of the two Ghost Lords. Its body was constantly turning illusory, but during this process, it still remembered what Fang Chen had said. His body seemed to be moving chaotically, but in reality, his feet were stepping in different directions. Every time his feet touched the ground, there would be a hidden force injected into the ground. Not long after, a deafening sound rang out. The deviant Ghost Lord could not hold on any longer and was sent flying. However, the mission was accomplished. It's my turn. Fang Chen concealed his aura with the Samsara knife and quietly approached the tactical deployment. He quickly patted the nodes of the array. Lin Zun discovered him and roared angrily. Human, you're courting death. However, it was too late. He grinned and his hands formed seals. Lin Zun discovered that he had lost control of the formation. Rumble. Countless explosions could be heard from the nodes of the formation. Half of the array base was destroyed, and the array formation was instantly broken. Roar. Without the restraint of the formation, the strength of the mutated Ghost Lord was restored. It looked down at the two Ghost Lords in anger. You two actually besieged me. You deserve to die. The mutated Ghost Lord said coldly. You actually cooperated with a human? Lin Zun and the Wolf Lord looked at each other, ready to deal with Fang Chen first. However, Fang Chen was already prepared. The moment they rushed over, the incomplete formation suddenly reversed and ran in reverse. A terrifying force instantly enveloped Lin Zun and the Wolf Lord. No! The two ghost lords were trapped in the formation, and they were horrified. What kind of formation is this? They underestimated Fang Chen's attainments in formations. He was almost invincible in the world. Not only did he crack the formation set up by the two ghost lords, but he also made a reverse calculation. Now the formation was completely reversed. It was still a familiar formation, but it was not familiar with the power. "Let's go," the Wolf Lord exclaimed. "I can only trap them for 3 seconds. Fang Chen said. The Drum Lord nodded, and its figure flashed and disappeared into the formation. Fang Chen maintained the formation, and his face was pale. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. When 3 seconds passed, the formation shattered with a bang, and Fang Chen was directly smashed away. Blood flowed, and he was seriously injured. At this time, the mutated Ghost Lord had successfully injured the Wolf Lord with the help of the formation. Catcher. The moment the formation was broken, he took the Wolf Lord's head. Hiss. The Wolf Lord's body quickly collapsed, and finally turned into a vast force that was absorbed by the Ghost Lord. After absorbing the Wolf Lord's power, the Ghost Lord's strength had obviously become stronger. He smiled eerily and locked onto Lin Zun. "Let me go." Lin Zun begged for mercy. In a one-on-one fight, he was not the Ghost Lord's strength at all. Ridiculous. The Ghost Lord attacked, and Lin Zun fled in panic. The entire Dark Ghost City was completely overturned by the battle between the two, and the remaining ghosts were also affected by the terrifying force. "Do you really want to kill all of us?" Fang Chen climbed up from the soil. He could vaguely hear Lin Zun's desperate and angry voice in the storm. "Die." In the next moment, he heard the Ghost Lord's roar, and then the sky fell and the earth cracked, and hellfire poured down. Whoosh. The Ghost Lord's figure flashed, and he came to Fang Chen's side. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." Fang Chen nodded. After absorbing the power of the two Ghost Lords, the Ghost Lord's strength had undergone a qualitative leap. He was even confident that he could recover his peak strength when he was alive. Therefore, when he saw Fang Chen, he actually smiled. "Are the two of them dead?" Fang Chen asked. In a one-on-one fight, they are no match for me." The Ghost Lord was full of confidence. Whoosh. Fang Chen breathed a sigh of relief. The crisis was finally over. "I will do what I promised you, but I also hope that you can keep your promise," the Ghost Lord suddenly said, "and, if you can sound the bell and drum, you must take me with you." The Ghost Lord increasingly believed that Fang Chen might be the successor chosen by the Great Lord. If he went with him, he might be able to reach the end of the reincarnation road and enter the reincarnation cycle. "Don't worry, how can I leave such a powerful hand behind?" Fang Chen grinned. "I am seriously injured now, and I need to find a place to heal. Follow me." The Ghost Lord brought Fang Chen back to his place of seclusion. Dark Ghost City gradually calmed down. The death of the two Ghost Lords was a good thing for the remaining ghosts. Dark Ghost City was back on track again. At the end of the reincarnation road, there was an endless sea shrouded in grey fog. This was the legendary Sea of Rebirth. At the edge of the Sea of Rebirth, there was a statue. He suddenly opened his eyes and saw the scene in Dark Ghost City through the reincarnation road. Beside him, the Guardian with the 3-layer mark was also speechless. All the crises were resolved so easily. Buzz. The statue emitted a terrifying light, and a message was transmitted to the Guardian's mind. Chapter 36:17. This is. Fang Chen was completely stunned when he arrived at the cave abode of the variant ghost Venerables. There was a pool in the cave abode. The pool was steaming hot, but the color of the water was black. Dark soul cleansing water? Fang Chen almost jumped up. The dark soul cleansing water that only existed in legends actually had such a large pool here. It was simply unimaginable. In the past, he had only seen records of the dark soul cleansing water in the ancient books of the Tao Palace. The dark soul cleansing water was a very powerful liquid. This liquid was specially used to cleanse the primordial spirit of martial artists. The primordial spirit golden core could form a nascent soul after being cleansed for countless years. In the 5 elements sacred realm, it was very difficult to comprehend the origin of heaven and earth. However, with the dark soul cleansing water, It could cleanse the primordial spirit and form a nascent soul, making cultivation much easier. Moreover, it was said that in the chaotic ancient era, there was a peak expert who used the dark soul cleansing water to cleanse the primordial spirit for a long time. Finally, he broke through the shackles and stepped into the legendary chaotic supremacy realm. Of course, this was just a legend. The legend is true. In his mind, the skeleton of Venerable Hun Yi vibrated and spoke. It seemed that even Venerable Hun Yi was shocked. He told Fang Chen about the legend and then said that the dark soul cleansing water was also very useful to him. If he could soak his skeleton in it, he might be able to condense his primordial spirit again and reincarnate. This was simply a great opportunity for Venerable Hun Yi, who had already broken his reincarnation road. Without saying anything, Fang Chen took out the skeleton and put it in the pool. Hiss. After the skeleton entered the pool, it was constantly cleansed, and the last trace of Venerable Hun Yi's consciousness fell into a deep sleep. "This is your place of seclusion?" Fang Chen asked. The variant ghost Venerable nodded. "The dark soul cleansing water is rare in the world. It's not a rare thing in Dark Ghost City. Maybe the mighty figure at the end of the reincarnation road placed the dark soul cleansing water here to cleanse the evil people in our lives," the variant ghost Venerable muttered to itself. After a long time, Fang Chen woke up from his shock. He let the variant ghost Venerable help to guard him and then entered the dark soul cleansing water. Plop! Waves splashed on the surface of the pool. After Fang Chen sank to the bottom of the pool, he felt a strong pressure. At the same time, he also felt the power of the dark god cleansing water invading his mind. Hiss hiss hiss. His primordial spirit golden core spun rapidly as it was enveloped by the dark soul cleansing water. As for him, he gradually fell into a deep sleep. The path of reincarnation was a mystery to the people on the God's Fall battlefield. Many people regarded it as a taboo and did not dare to casually talk about it. When Fang Chen fell into the path of reincarnation, the black and white elders of the Dao Palace believed that he was doomed. During this period of time, the flames of war were unceasing in the demonic Skyfire region. Moreover, the protectors of the no-demon cult seemed to have pledged allegiance to the young Marquis. Their strength instantly skyrocketed and they began to launch a large-scale attack on the God's Fall battlefield. Just relying on Nether Ghost Lord alone, it was very difficult to resist. The God's Fall alliance had suffered heavy casualties. Qing Jun's incarnation had collapsed, and his original body was still sleeping in the demonic mountains. While healing, he searched for the reincarnation road to see if he could rescue Fang Chen. After all, the latter had the essence blood of the Blood God clan. As for the black and white elders, after making arrangements for the Dao Palace, they began their journey to the demonic Skyfire region to meet up with Nether Ghost Lord. After the three invincible saints met up, the alliance finally stopped collapsing and began to counterattack. At the critical moment, the young Marquis used his trump card and forced the three invincible saints to retreat. On the same day, the chaos battlefield that had disappeared for a long time suddenly appeared out of thin air, shocking the entire God's Fall battlefield. At the same time, many top invincible saints felt the terrifying power emanating from the chaos battlefield. In the Fire Marrow Mine in the demonic Skyfire region. "Young Marquis, the chaos battlefield has appeared," a servant said in a low voice. "I can feel the power erupting from within the chaos battlefield. I think the master has already taken action. Humph, a group of sinners wants to fight with the carefree mansion. What wishful thinking. The chaos battlefield is the master's territory. Once the so-called top invincible saints are trapped, they will definitely die." Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A dark figure suddenly appeared in the Fire Marrow Mine. It was the protector of the no-demon cult. "Greetings, young Marquis." Although the protector of the no-demon cult was also an invincible saint, he did not dare to be too presumptuous in front of the young Marquis. Moreover, he chose to cooperate with the young Marquis, which basically meant that he had surrendered. Of course, he was willing to do so. He was especially excited after learning about the situation in the chaos battlefield from the young Marquis. "What's the matter?" The young Marquis glanced at him and asked. "I heard that the young Marquis was looking for the fire source mine," the protector of the no-demon cult said. "I guess that it should have been obtained by Fang Chen. Fang Chen? The young Marquis frowned. He is a disciple of the Defying Heaven Alliance and also a Dao Palace genius. He once suppressed many geniuses in the demonic Skyfire region by himself. He was the first to find the Fire Marrow Mine. The no-demon cult had always regarded Fang Chen as a person they must kill, so they knew a lot about him. Connecting the dots, if there was anyone who was most likely to obtain the Fire Marrow Mine, it was most likely Fang Chen. The young Marquis's expression finally turned serious. He stared coldly at the protector and asked, "Then do you know where Fang Chen is?" No matter what, he would rather kill 1,000 by mistake than miss out on one. This was the young Marquis's way of doing things. Besides, everyone here was a sinner. It didn't matter how many he killed. Not long ago, he broke into the demonic mountain range and snatched the fusion source fragment that we have been planning for a long time. He slaughtered our disciples and finally disappeared in the Dark Sword Mound. The protector of the no-demon cult explained the situation at that time. Hearing this, the young Marquis's body trembled. The path of rebirth, the other servants also exclaimed in surprise. Oh my God, why would the path of rebirth manifest here? Is something big going to happen? Obviously, they were also very afraid of the path of rebirth. After a long time, the young Marquis finally calmed down. He said in a deep voice, "Pay close attention to the movements in the demonic mountain range. At the same time, speed up the attack on the sinner's land. As for Fang Chen, if he falls into the path of rebirth, he most likely won't survive." The path of rebirth was a matter of great importance. The young Marquis did not dare to be negligent. He wanted to rule the entire Godsfall battlefield as soon as possible, and then carefully study the path of rebirth. Whoosh! He took a deep breath, and a trace of determination flashed across his eyes. Young Marquis, isn't it a little too hasty to act now? The sudden appearance of the chaos battlefield that had disappeared meant that although the top giants were trapped, they were fighting hard. They were attacking the seal from the inside. The servants hoped that it would not be too late for them to act after Xiao Yarrow, who had completely stabilized the chaos battlefield. Chapter 36:18. Reincarnation Road, Dark Ghost City. Hot air surged in the vast pool. Fang Chen dove to the bottom of the pool and endured the intense pressure from all directions. If it was an ordinary person, this kind of pressure would be enough to instantly shatter them. Fortunately, Fang Chen's physical strength was extremely strong and he had the perfect bloodline to protect him. He could withstand the cleansing of the dark soul cleansing water. Buzz! After a long time, Fang Chen finally adapted to the power of the dark soul cleansing water. He then began to carefully guide the dark soul cleansing water into his mind. Hiss! When his primordial spirit golden core came into contact with the dark soul cleansing water, a terrifying power rippled out. At this moment, Fang Chen felt his body trembling. His primordial spirit golden core was trembling and on the verge of collapse. "Condense!" Fang Chen shouted. His perfect bloodline exploded at this moment and drilled into his mind. It covered his primordial spirit golden core and formed a strong defensive barrier. Whoosh! At this moment, the power of the dark soul cleansing water gradually decreased. Crack! The dark soul cleansing water gradually seeped into his primordial spirit golden core. The terrifying corrosive power kept eroding Fang Chen's primordial spirit. In a moment, a crack appeared on his primordial spirit golden core. Oh no! Fang Chen wanted to stop it, but it was too late. The dark soul cleansing water had begun to attack his primordial spirit golden core. He was anxious. If he did not stop it, his primordial spirit golden core would most likely shatter. Once his primordial spirit golden core shattered, it would mean that he would die here. Damn it! Fang Chen cursed and quickly thought of a way to deal with it. Beside the pool, the variant Ghost Lord saw this scene and its eyes flickered. His primordial spirit has reached the golden core level, but his realm is too low. The dark soul cleansing water was a rare item. Even a half-step chaotic supremacy would find it difficult to resist its temptation. One could imagine how powerful it was. Your primordial spirit can no longer bear it. Leave quickly. The voice of the outsider Ghost Lord entered Fang Chen's mind and exploded, waking Fang Chen up. However, It was too late. Fang Chen wanted to leave, but he discovered that his body was imprisoned by the dark cleansing divine water, unable to move. Damn it! The ghost lord of the exotic species growled and reached out its hand to the bottom of the pool, trying to rescue Fang Chen. However, just as his palm was about to touch Fang Chen, he suddenly let out a miserable cry. A terrifying shockwave sent him flying. How is this possible? The variant ghost lord lying on the ground looked at his blood-stained palm and trembled. He hastily looked at the pool and was shocked to find Fang Chen at the bottom of the pool, emanating a vast aura. Above his head, a copper bowl was spinning. There were complicated patterns on the copper bowl. Every time it spun, it would trigger the movement of the dark soul-cleansing water. The light from the copper bowl shrouded Fang Chen's body. At this moment, Fang Chen was like an eminent monk, sitting cross-legged at the bottom of the pool, receiving the cleansing of the dark soul-cleansing water. That is, the Ghost Lord was completely stunned. He felt the terrifying aura hidden in the copper bowl. That aura made even him tremble. A supreme weapon that is superior to a dual-origin sacred weapon? The Ghost Lord exclaimed. Origin sacred weapons were condensed from the origin energy of heaven and earth. They were extremely powerful and were almost the strongest weapons in the world. However, just like the supreme technique of the secret technique, there was also a weapon that belonged to the chaotic supremacy. It was called the supreme weapon. As the name suggested, it was a weapon that was personally refined by the chaotic supremacy. Only the chaotic supremacy could control it. There are supreme weapons in this era? When he looked at Fang Chen, his eyes were filled with shock. He could not imagine how a guy in the five elements sacred realm could have a supreme weapon and use it. At the bottom of the pool, Fang Chen felt the powerful power of the copper bowl, and his heart was in turmoil. He had once obtained this copper bowl from the altar in the North Sea of the primordial chaos. He vaguely remembered that the altar was dedicated to a super expert. And his trump card, the heaven-severing alchemy, was obtained from that super expert. At that time, when he left in a hurry, he obtained a copper bowl and had been carrying it with him. He did not expect the copper bowl to be so powerful that it could resist the power of the dark soul-cleansing water. Phew! Fang Chen carefully sensed the copper bowl and then breathed a sigh of relief. Rays of light shot out from the copper bowl and shrouded him. Under the deterrence of the copper bowl, the dark spirit cleansing water actually became much more docile. The dark spirit cleansing water flowed into his mind and cleansed his Yuanshan golden core in an orderly manner. This, Fang Chen was shocked. The origin of the copper bowl was too mysterious. He even guessed that this copper bowl was most likely related to the primordial chaos. However, it was useless to think about this now. The most important thing was to cleanse his primordial spirit. Buzz. He began to try to control the dark soul-cleansing water to cleanse his primordial spirit. A moment later, the dark soul-cleansing water had completely enveloped his primordial spirit. At this time, his primordial spirit golden core had already emitted a brilliant golden luster and was about to be perfected. Phew! In just half an hour, his primordial spirit golden core had already reached the peak and was only one step away from forming the nascent soul. Forming the nascent soul from the golden core is the most difficult and dangerous stage on the path of martial arts. Fang Chen's face was solemn. After all, it was a matter of life and death. He did not dare to be careless. Success or failure depends on this. A moment later, Fang Chen collected his thoughts and began to break through. Outside the pool. Seeing this, the foreign species ghost lords were all shocked. How is this possible? He could clearly feel the pressure emanating from the copper bowl. That pressure even made his heart palpitate. It was definitely a supreme weapon. Only a supreme could control a weapon. But why does he have it? All of a sudden, the foreign species ghost lord had a bold guess. Could it be? The foreign species ghost lord's pupils suddenly shrank, and he immediately exclaimed, the reincarnation of the primordial chaos? Other than this, he really could not think of any reason to explain what he was seeing now. Why did the mighty at the end of the reincarnation road choose him as the executor of the plan? And how did he enter the reincarnation road with his physical body? One had to know that since ancient times, even the three ghost lords could not do this when they were alive. A little guy in the five elements sacred realm did it. What the hell is going on? The foreign species ghost lord murmured. Could it be that the world has changed and the dark turmoil will reappear? At the same time, the entire Dark Ghost City and even the Reincarnation Road were shocked by the supreme aura emanating from the copper bowl. Even the statue at the end of the Reincarnation Road suddenly opened its eyes. Chapter 36:19. The path of the soul had always been mysterious. Especially after entering the five elements sacred realm, one could absorb the origin of heaven and earth to cultivate, comprehend the five great origins, and truly fight against the heavens. At this time, the primordial spirit had basically formed the golden core, and it was extremely difficult to advance further. Forming the nascent soul from the golden core was the dream of every sacred realm powerhouse. Some people couldn't do it even after spending their entire lives. Some people failed midway and died. In short, there were very few people who could form the nascent soul since ancient times. Now, Fang Chen had reached the most critical point of forming the nascent soul. His potential had already reached the top of all time, and according to Supremacy Han Yi, there were very few people who could compete with him in terms of potential even in the chaotic ancient era. One could imagine how strong Fang Chen's potential was. Therefore, his path of cultivation was much smoother than others. In addition to his perfect bloodline and the powerhouse behind the bloodline, all kinds of factors had made him who he was now. Now, he was using the dark soul cleansing water to constantly cleanse his primordial spirit, and he wanted to form the nascent soul. The corrosive power of the dark soul cleansing water was too strong, and it specifically targeted the primordial spirit. Once it invaded, even an invincible saint would find it difficult to resist. Previously, when the foreign ghost lord cultivated here, he didn't dare to immerse himself in the dark soul cleansing water. He had a unique secret technique, and he only dared to absorb it slowly. Unlike Fang Chen, who had the protection of the copper bowl that seemed to be a supreme weapon, the corrosive power of the dark soul cleansing water's threat to him was greatly reduced, and the copper bowl even helped him absorb the dark soul cleansing water. This allowed his primordial spirit to be cleansed faster. A month later, his primordial spirit had been cleansed by 10%. At this time, he felt that his primordial spirit was unprecedentedly strong, and he could resist the dark soul cleansing water with a thought. However, it was still not enough. Continue. He summarized his experience and continued to immerse himself in the cleansing. A year later, his primordial spirit had been cleansed by 30%. Phew. He exhaled a mouthful of turbid air, and he was a little tired, and his forehead was full of sweat. The deeper he went into the cleansing, the more time it took. In the beginning, it only took him a month to purify 10% of his primordial spirit. Now, after a year, he had only purified 30%. At this moment, the primordial spirit golden core in Fang Chen's mind was emitting a dazzling golden light. It was becoming more and more transparent, and on the surface of the golden core, complex patterns appeared. According to the current speed, it will take at least 10 years. Fang Chen thought to himself. For a sage realm expert, 10,000 years was like a snap of a finger. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. Just like that, with the help of the copper bowl, Fang Chen continued to purify his primordial spirit. During this period of time, his cultivation level had silently increased. He had risen from the 5th level Holy Emperor realm to the 6th level Holy Emperor realm. His physical strength had improved as well. Impressive. The variant Ghost Lord had been guarding Fang Chen all this time. He had seen the changes in Fang Chen with his own eyes and was amazed. Since the beginning of time, I have seen countless geniuses. However, none of them can compare to him. Time passed. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. As time passed, Fang Chen's primordial spirit golden core became more and more transparent, and the patterns on it became more and more numerous. In the end, they were densely intertwined, forming a complex pattern. Crack. 10 years later, Fang Chen's primordial spirit golden core had been purified by more than 90%. One day, the dark holy cleansing water suddenly surged and spun wildly, attacking Fang Chen's body. Splash! Fang Chen suddenly opened his eyes. A terrifying aura swept through the cave. At this moment, Fang Chen could clearly see that a crack had appeared on his primordial spirit golden core. If an ordinary warrior saw a crack in his primordial spirit, he would be extremely shocked. However, at this moment, Fang Chen was exceptionally surprised. This was because this was the sign that the primordial spirit golden core had been purified to the extreme. The crack was just the beginning. When the primordial spirit golden core was completely shattered, it would reform and form the nascent soul. Phew! Fang Chen took a deep breath. His expression was very serious. During this period, Supremacy Hun Yi had also given him a lot of advice, telling him to be careful. Fang Chen nodded. With a thought, he controlled the copper bowl to temporarily isolate the dark holy cleansing water in the pool and absorbed it drop by drop into his mind. Crack! Another crisp sound was heard. Another crack appeared on the primordial spirit golden core. Fang Chen felt dizzy. This was the after effect of the shattering of the primordial spirit golden core. Let's do it in one go. He knew that this was an excellent opportunity. If he missed it, his primordial chi would be greatly damaged and it would be difficult for him to form the nascent soul in the future. Absorb! He shouted and absorbed a drop of dark holy cleansing water, enveloping the cracked primordial spirit golden core. In the next moment, one could see with the naked eye that the primordial spirit golden core was like an egg. The cracks began to spread. Fang Chen's body was on the verge of collapse. He gritted his teeth and persevered. The pain spread throughout his body. He stared at the primordial spirit golden core without blinking. Crack! With a crisp sound, the primordial spirit golden core finally shattered completely. At this time, the perfect bloodline in his body surged wildly, protecting the broken primordial spirit and preventing the power of the soul Tao from leaking out. Condense the primordial spirit again and form the nascent soul. Fang Chen murmured. He sat in the pool with difficulty and began to condense the primordial spirit according to the method taught to him by Supremacy Hun Yi. In fact, this method was very common in the chaotic ancient era. However, because of the battle of the gods, the world was limited and the method of forming the nascent soul was lost. Fang Chen's hands were constantly forming seals. He used himself as the array base and the pool as the array. An endless stream of dark holy cleansing water entered his mind. Rumble. Under the purification of the dark holy cleansing water, the shattered primordial spirit slowly reformed. Ah! Fang Chen could not help but let out a painful cry. The pain of the reunion was unbearable for ordinary people. Even Fang Chen cried out in pain. He succeeded. Beside the pool, the foreign species ghost lords widened their eyes in shock. He completed the purification of the primordial spirit in just 10 years. This is too. The foreign species ghost lords felt that they had suffered a great blow. They had cultivated for hundreds of millions of years and lived like a dog. The foreign species ghost lords stared at Fang Chen without blinking. After all, they had never accomplished such a feat when they were at their peak. As for Venerable Hun Yi's skeleton, it was trembling non-stop with joy. He had seen countless elites, but none of them could be compared to Fang Chen. Once the primordial spirit forms the nascent soul, even the invincible sages will be no match for him, right? Supremacy Hun Yi exclaimed. It was a long process to reassemble the primordial spirit and form the nascent soul. Even Fang Chen was no exception. However, Fang Chen was not in a hurry. He already saw hope and felt that there was a high chance of success. He was secretly happy and grateful to the Copper Bowl and the Super Overlord in the primordial chaos. If not for them, it would be almost impossible for his primordial spirit to form the nascent soul. At this moment, at the end of the reincarnation road, the statue opened its eyes and looked at Fang Chen through the grey fog. Chapter 3620. It took 10 years to cleanse the primordial spirit. After that, it took 50 years to reform the primordial spirit. It had been nearly 100 years since Fang Chen entered the reincarnation road. During this time, the outside world had been constantly fighting. The young duke and the others, together with the remnants of the no-demon cult, launched a powerful counterattack against the Godsfall alliance. Nether Ghost Lord was seriously injured several times, and in the end, his soul was almost scattered. Fortunately, the Black and White Elders intervened and saved him. The young duke showed his powerful means in front of the world. Of course, these means were all prepared for him by his father, Duke Xiaoyao. If he really relied on himself, he would not be able to defeat an invincible saint. As the chaos battlefield was closed, the young duke and the others spread the news that the Godsfall battlefield would usher in the greatest disaster in history. Some people began to waver, especially after Nether Ghost Lord was defeated. They were shocked to find that the heaven-defying alliance could no longer protect them. They began to seek other ways out. Some people could not stand the tempting conditions offered by the young duke and betrayed the Godsfall battlefield, joining the young duke's side. There were also some who, although remaining neutral, were always ready to side with the young duke. For a time, rumors spread in the Godsfall battlefield, and everyone was in danger. 100 years passed in a flash. Fang Chen, the once peerless genius, the top genius of all time, had long been forgotten by the world. He fell into the reincarnation road, and it was basically impossible for him to come back alive. A dead genius was destined to be forgotten by the people. Reincarnation Road, Dark Ghost City. Hiss. Hiss. In the pool, the dark cleansing water kept bubbling, as if it would evaporate at any time. The foreign ghost lord standing to the side was secretly shocked. His heart was bleeding. The entire pool of dark cleansing water had been consumed by Fang Chen by 2/3. Now, the pool had reached the bottom, and there was only a little dark cleansing water left. This guy. The foreign ghost lord could not help but shake his head. At the same time, he was shocked. A guy in the sage realm had actually absorbed so much dark cleansing divine water. Most importantly, he had actually succeeded. Cleansing the primordial spirit, and then forming the nascent soul. The nascent soul that had always existed in legends, he had seen it with his own eyes today. At this time, Fang Chen was sitting cross-legged in the pool, his clothes disheveled. His eyes were closed, and his body was surrounded by a red halo. The dark cleansing water was no longer much of a threat to him. The corrosive power couldn't even penetrate the copper bowl's defense. In his mind, multicolored light shot out in all directions. A small golden figure was sitting cross-legged, looking exactly like him. It was practically a miniature version of him. The golden dwarf exuded a terrifying power of the soul Tao. This was the nascent soul transformation. It was said that after the nascent soul formed, it would take on the appearance of a human and exist in the mind, providing an endless supply of energy. Right now, Fang Chen had successfully formed his nascent soul. The tiny golden figure was still in its growth stage. It closed its eyes and continued to absorb energy. The dark cleansing water and the power of the perfect bloodline were all absorbed by the golden dwarf. Fang Chen could clearly feel that the power of his soul Tao had skyrocketed. He could penetrate the reincarnation road with a single thought. Who? At a certain moment, Fang Chen opened his eyes, his heart filled with shock. After 100 years of hard work, I finally succeeded. After confirming that there was nothing wrong with the golden humanoid, Fang Chen sighed and smiled brightly. Although the primordial spirit golden core realm and the primordial spirit nascent soul realm were only one step away, the difference between the two was simply too great. Only after successfully forming the nascent soul could one experience the difference. The power of a nascent soul realm primordial spirit is more than 100 times stronger than that of a golden core realm primordial spirit. Fang Chen exclaimed. 100 years ago, his primordial spirit could not penetrate the fog of the reincarnation road. But now, he could see the end of the reincarnation road with a single glance. If I were in the outside world, I should be able to cover the entire Godfall battlefield with a single thought. This was the terrifying nascent soul transformation. Since ancient times, anyone who could form the nascent soul transformation could basically touch the threshold of the primordial spirit. As for whether they could step into the primordial spirit, it depended on the right time, place, and people. At least, Fang Chen was far from it. I didn't expect my soul Tao to take a shortcut. Fang Chen stood up, the dark cleansing water falling from his body. The copper bowl above his head also lost its luster and fell into his palm. A supreme weapon? Fang Chen murmured. After his primordial spirit improved, his understanding of the primordial spirit had improved. Therefore, he knew the origin of the copper bowl. It's all thanks to it. Otherwise, it would have been difficult to succeed. Fang Chen sighed and put away the copper bowl. Congratulations. The foreign ghost lord cupped his fists, his heart trembling. You are the first person to successfully form the nascent soul since ancient times. I was lucky. Fang Chen was more modest. After 100 years of hard work, not only did his primordial spirit break through, but his cultivation also stepped into the 6th level Holy Emperor. However, to him, cultivation level was not very significant. After all, if he attacked with all his strength, he would not be afraid even if he was an invincible saint. Unless a half-step primordial spirit expert attacked, he would not be afraid. Phew. He really did not expect to gain so much from the reincarnation road. Now that he thought about it, it was time to meet the Supreme Venerable at the end of the reincarnation road. It's a pity to leave so much dark cleansing water here. Fang Chen looked at the 1/3 of dark cleansing water left and muttered to himself. This dark cleansing water is extremely corrosive. There are almost no containers that can contain it. However, before the foreign ghost lord finished speaking, it saw Fang Chen take out the copper bowl and start collecting it. Whoosh! Although the copper bowl looked small, it contained a universe inside. Soon, it collected all the dark cleansing water. Anyway, the other ghosts in the Dark Ghost City can't use it to cultivate, Fang Chen said. After leaving the cave, Fang Chen said to the foreign ghost lord, "Try attacking me." The foreign ghost lord was a little hesitant. It had once set a blood curse. This is an order. Hearing this, the foreign ghost lord did not hesitate and directly attacked. Boom! It was a simple punch, but it contained a powerful force comparable to an invincible saint. Wherever the fist passed, the void collapsed. Condense. Seeing this, Fang Chen growled. The void seemed to have frozen at this moment. Then, in his mind, the golden figure shook, and a terrifying force escaped. He punched the foreign ghost lord. Dong! The two fists collided, and a deafening sound erupted. The foreign ghost lord felt a shocking force rushing into its body, trying to destroy its remnant consciousness. Bang! 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 The foreign ghost lord was shocked and forced it out, retreating step by step. After stabilizing its body, the foreign ghost lord looked at Fang Chen in horror. Was the nascent soul of the primordial spirit so terrifying? As expected. Fang Chen nodded with satisfaction. It was similar to what he had guessed. With my current strength, I should be able to try to sound the bell and drum, right? Chapter 36:21. After transforming his nascent soul, Fang Chen's strength had reached its peak. It was very difficult for him to go any further. However, with the reincarnation knife, his combat strength was extraordinary. Even if he fought with an invincible saint, he was full of confidence. No one in the Dark Ghost City was his opponent. The foreign ghost lords had also set up a blood curse to obey his orders. It was time for the blood curse to sound the bell and drum. In fact, in addition to wanting to leave this place and go to the end of the reincarnation road to see the Great Senior, there was another very important reason, which was the substitute talisman. It was refined by the Great Senior himself. At a critical moment, it could save his life. Having the substitute talisman meant that he had an extra life, which was a treasure that countless martial artists yearned for. "Let's go," Fang Chen whispered. Not long after, he appeared on a mountain peak. On the mountain top, there was a bell and drum. Runes flickered and it was full of terrible power. So strong. Fang Chen couldn't help but sigh. The closer he got to the bell and drum, the greater the pressure he felt. However, when he released a powerful soul path power, the pressure disappeared. The mutated ghost lord behind him also had a look of surprise on his face. He had come here countless times, but he couldn't get close to the bell and drum. He didn't expect Fang Chen to be able to resist this terrible power. Buzz! Fang Chen took a step forward and came to the bell and drum. Then, he suddenly punched out. Dong dong dong! After a short silence, the bell and drum burst out with a deafening sound, echoing over the entire Dark Ghost City. The melodious sound rippled out one after another. Fang Chen felt that the golden figure in his mind was vibrating. He had exerted his strongest power, but he could only barely sound the bell and drum. No wonder. Fang Chen took a few steps back and stared at the vibrating bell and drum, sighing. If it weren't for his nascent soul, it would be impossible to sound the bell and drum. He looked back at the foreign ghost lords. Ghosts like them didn't have physical bodies or nascent souls. They only existed in the dark ghost city as remnants of their thoughts. Even if they had the battle strength of an invincible saint, they were destined to be unable to sound the bell and drum. Dong dong dong. The sound of bells and drums rang out continuously. Soon, it spread throughout the reincarnation road. The grey fog suddenly spread to both sides. A golden path was formed, running through the reincarnation road and extending from the end. It finally penetrated the void, entered the dark ghost city, and came to Fang Chen's feet. This, mutated ghost lords were extremely excited. They had cultivated for billions of years in order to reincarnate, and now they finally had this opportunity. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that it was the wisest choice to make a blood curse with Fang Chen. Perhaps, he really can leave his name in history and become the pinnacle existence of prehistoric times. Mr. Drum thought to himself. The way he looked at Fang Chen became more and more serious. If it was said that he still harbored some hatred towards Fang Chen when he was forced to set up the blood curse, then now, he completely approved of Fang Chen. At the end of the reincarnation road, the guardian with 3 layers of imprints grinned when he saw this. To be able to succeed in just 100 years, he really is a genius. He couldn't stop smiling. At the same time, he admired the great sage even more. He could see Fang Chen's potential at a glance. As expected of someone with a perfect bloodline. As he spoke, the guardian with 3 layers of imprints stepped out and came to the golden path to welcome Fang Chen. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After a while, Fang Chen led the mutated ghost lords across the golden path and came to the end of the reincarnation road. Congratulations. The guardian with 3 layers of imprints nodded at Fang Chen. Fang Chen also greeted him. The illusory body of the mutated ghost lord behind him was obviously shocked, and he looked at the guardian with fear. After all, he was a heinous person when he was alive, and was trapped in the dark ghost city by the great sage. Now, he was lucky enough to escape with Fang Chen and come to the end of the reincarnation road. He was afraid that the great sage would be unhappy and send him back. We already know what happened in the dark ghost city, said the guardian with 3 layers of imprints. Since you've already set up a blood curse with Fang Chen, you can be considered his servant. The great sage will be lenient and allow you to reincarnate. Then, he flicked his finger, and a crystal-clear water droplet fell into the forehead of the mutated ghost lord. Dong. The mutated ghost lord's body shook, and he looked at the guardian in disbelief. Go, step into the reincarnation lake, and reincarnate. The guardian warned the mutated ghost lord that after reincarnating successfully, he must remember not to be a heinous person. Otherwise, the next time he died, he would never have the chance to rise again. Thank you, Lord Guardian. Thank you, Master. The mutated ghost lord was very grateful. Splash. The mutated ghost lord jumped into the reincarnation lake and disappeared. Fang Chen could clearly feel that the sky above the reincarnation lake was filled with a mighty aura of reincarnation, sweeping away the remnant consciousness of the mutated ghost lord. This is the reincarnation of life and death. Fang Chen murmured. The reincarnation that he once thought he had comprehended was nothing in front of the reincarnation of life and death. Well, I will take you to see the great sage. At the end of the reincarnation road, at the edge of the Sea of Bitterness. The Sea of Bitterness was also called the Reincarnation Lake. The Sea of Bitterness was boundless. Turn back and you will see the shore. A statue sat quietly by the Sea of Bitterness. Behind him, there were 2 balls of light. Fang Chen recognized the 2 people at a glance. They were the Blood Cavalry Saint and the Bloodline King. This, Fang Chen was overjoyed. He didn't expect the 2 to be cultivating beside the great sage. Buzz. The perfect bloodline in his body was restless. At the same time, the 2 people in the 2 balls of light seemed to have sensed the familiar bloodline aura, and instantly opened their eyes. After seeing Fang Chen, they looked at each other, their faces full of joy. Buzz. At this moment, Fang Chen felt a throbbing from the depths of his primordial spirit. He shivered all over and couldn't help but take a few steps back. Not bad. In the bone-chilling cold wind, a deafening voice came. At the same time, the statue opened its eyes. The great sage, the peak expert at the end of the reincarnation road, oversaw the reincarnation road and was in charge of the reincarnation of life and death. After seeing the great sage, Fang Chen was shocked. Only the peak expert in the ancient chaotic North Sea could be compared to him, right? Swoosh! A dazzling light shot out from the statue. Fang Chen subconsciously reached out to catch it, and found that it was a talisman with complicated patterns. Death Substitute Talisman. He was shocked and carefully observed it. Is this the legendary Death Substitute Talisman? Fang Chen murmured. A small talisman could replace a martial artist's death. One could imagine how high the attainment of talisman had to be able to refine it. Thank you, great sage. Suppressing the shock in his heart, Fang Chen put away the Death Substitute Talisman and thanked him with cupped fists. You deserve it. The statue said. In 100 years, you can walk out of the Dark Ghost City and transform your primordial spirit to the nascent soul stage. In this era, you are the first. Chapter 3622. The statue's body was filled with a vast and mysterious aura. Fang Chen's heart trembled when he saw this. He could see the statue with his naked eye, but when he used his divine sense to check, he was shocked to find that the statue seemed to be hundreds of millions of miles away from him, and even seemed to be separated by an endless river of time. How terrifying! Fang Chen couldn't help exclaiming. His primordial spirit had reached the nascent soul level, and was almost at the peak of the 5 elements sacred realm. However, facing the statue, he couldn't see through it. Fang Chen rubbed his eyes hard and put away the Death Substitution Talisman. At this time, the statue spoke again. Do you know why I chose you? Fang Chen was at a loss. He didn't know, but he felt that it should be related to the Battle of Gods. I chose you because you have perfectly inherited the bloodline legacy I left behind, and you have even activated it in its initial stages. The statue said, back then, I spent my life researching the strongest perfect bloodline in the universe, and wanted to rely on this bloodline to create the strongest person in the world. When I researched it, I found that my body was defective and couldn't cultivate at all. Even if I forced it into my body, it couldn't reach the expected level. At most, my strength would be a little stronger. However, at their level, a slight increase in strength didn't have much impact on them. What he planned was related to the life and death of this world. If he was careless, he would be completely annihilated and become history. Because of this, he had chosen countless geniuses since ancient times, but they all failed in the end. Only Fang Chen succeeded in reaching here. After listening to the great sage's words, Fang Chen's heart was set off stormy waves. He didn't expect that the great sage had existed for so long. Not to mention the prehistoric era, which was too far away from the present. The warriors of that era had already died. Without evidence, no one knew what the prehistoric era was like. However, the great sage had already existed in the ancient chaos era, which was relatively close to the present. His strength was beyond imagination. In that era, he was already a great sage, but because he was in charge of the reincarnation road, no one knew about him. In the ancient chaos era, there were tens of thousands of people who obtained the bloodline opportunity he left behind, but in the end, only 3 people succeeded in activating the bloodline. However, in the end, all 3 of them died. After that, the primordial age and the primordial age. Different geniuses were chosen, but the results were the same. Even the great senior didn't expect that a monstrous genius like Fang Chen would appear in the age of chaos. He had successfully activated his perfect bloodline, and the density of his bloodline was close to true perfection. Most importantly, he had brought his physical body to the end of the reincarnation road. This was not something an ordinary person could do. Great Senior believed that Fang Chen was the perfect candidate to carry out his plan. May I ask, Great Sage, what exactly is your plan? Fang Chen cupped his fists and asked as he tried to calm down the shock in his heart. The sculptor chuckled. You must have read some ancient books. You should know something about the Battle of Gods, right? Fang Chen paused for a moment, then nodded. Just as he had guessed, The Grand Monarch scheme had something to do with the mastermind behind the Battle of Godsfall. The Battle of Godsfall occurs every once in a while, and every time it occurs it is extremely tragic. All the powerhouses in the world are forced to passively participate in the battle. In the end, the world is annihilated and the void collapses. The Great Senior continued, the last Battle of Gods occurred at the end of the ancient era. During that Battle of Gods, 2/3 of the destiny of the Chaos Realm was sucked away, causing the Chaos Realm to almost collapse and barely survive. Fang Chen listened carefully. The Chaos Void, the Godsfall battlefield, and the Chaos battlefield all belonged to a world, and this world was collectively known as the Chaos Realm. At the beginning of the Chaos Realm, Yin and Yang were born, evolving into the 5 elements, thus giving birth to the Chaos Realm. It could be said that the Chaos Realm was born from nothingness. According to Fang Chen's understanding, the birth process of the Chaos Realm was actually the same as Pangu's creation of the world in the ancient myths of Earth. Although the Chaos Realm is maintained by the heavenly Tao, with its destiny sucked away, it is difficult for monstrous geniuses to appear. This is also why during the Age of Chaos, the Chaos Supremacy became a legend. The sculpture side. Once, in the most ancient era, there was more than one Chaos Supremacy. But now, it was almost extinct. The destiny was sucked away. Fang Chen was stunned. He really couldn't imagine who had the ability to suck away the destiny of the Chaos Realm. The peak of martial arts not only can move mountains and fill seas, but most importantly, can control the world and control the entire Chaos Realm. The Great Senior continued, since ancient times, the ultimate goal of countless Chaos Supremacies was to become the Chaos Controller. The Chaos Controller could control the entire Chaos Realm. However, the most basic condition to become the Chaos Controller was that one's strength had to reach the Chaos Supremacy realm. During the Age of Darkness, there was a clan that appeared out of thin air. Their bloodline was extremely tyrannical, and they could devour other martial artists to increase their strength. They were extremely ambitious, and their clan leader used 3 eras to cultivate to the Chaos Supremacy realm. After that, they began to wage endless wars. The Great Senior side. That clan wanted to rule over the Primal Chaos Realm, and their clan leader also wanted to become the controller of the Primal Chaos Realm. Therefore, they started a bloody massacre. They believed that the existence of other clans affected their cultivation, so they started a massacre and initiated the Battle of Gods. Fang Chen was shocked. Sure enough, behind the Battle of Gods, there were Chaos Supremacies. That clan had unimaginable talent, and coupled with the evil cultivation of their clan leader, they could shield themselves from the heavenly Tao order for a short period of time. In the battles with other Chaos Supremacies, they won again and again, and their clan ran rampant between heaven and earth. However, they didn't know that becoming the Chaos Controller wasn't just about strength. Even if one became the number 1 in the Chaos Realm, they might not necessarily become the Chaos Controller. After the clan leader learned the reason, he frantically launched the Battle of Gods. Every time in the Battle of Gods, he would defy the heavens and change fate, forcibly extracting the destiny of the Chaos Realm. Recalling the past, the Great Senior also sighed. The surrounding atmosphere became a little sad. Fang Chen also recalled the peerless powerhouse's incarnation in the Demon Emperor's tomb. Could it be that he was the clan leader of that clan? Or was he a powerhouse of that clan? Then, what was he planning in the Demon Emperor's tomb? With his strength, he could destroy the entire ancient Chaos Realm with a flick of his finger. It shouldn't be like this, right? Fang Chen was very puzzled, and at the same time very shocked. We have been planning to deal with that person, and you are the executor of our plan. The Great Senior said. Fang Chen was stunned, and pointed at himself, somewhat in disbelief. When it came to the Chaos Supremacy, how could he be a match? Chapter 36-23. When the world was first created, it was extremely chaotic. In the end, after countless years of evolution, the chaotic realm was on the right track. However, since ancient times, the ultimate goal of countless cultivators was to become the legendary controller of the chaotic realm. Unfortunately, throughout the long river of time, no one had been able to transcend and no one had succeeded. According to the great sage, the clan that appeared out of thin air in the chaotic realm was called the Devouring Demon Clan. This clan was very powerful and could devour everything in the world. Their potential was also very great, many times stronger than the thousands of clans in the universe. The clan leader of the devouring demon clan was the one who started the Battle of the Gods. He wanted to become the controller of the chaotic realm, so he ordered the devouring demon clan to start the war. After the Battle of the Gods, the clan leader used his great means to open up a small space in the chaotic realm. This space was the ancestral land of the devouring demon clan. The origin world. Fang Chen was shocked. He did not expect the devouring demon clan to be so powerful. The great sage shook his head. No one knew how the devouring demon clan appeared, and no one knew how they were born. Even he, who was once the sovereign of the chaotic realm, did not know. After the Battle of the Gods, the devouring demon clan took away 2/3 of the chaotic realm's destiny and poured it all into the origin world. As a result, the chaotic realm's heavenly Tao was incomplete. It was impossible for martial artists to break through to the sovereign realm with their own efforts. As time passed, generation after generation of martial artists died on the road to the peak of martial arts. In the end, the chaotic realm completely declined. The great sage said. Back then, several supergiants appeared in the chaotic realm. When they joined forces, even the clan leader of the devouring demon clan was a little wary. However, almost all of them died in the battle of the ancient gods. The great sage sighed as he recalled the battle. If it were not for that battle, his realm would not have fallen, and he would not have been at the end of the reincarnation road, unable to leave. The copper bowl that you activated in Dark Ghost City belonged to the former leader of the chaotic realm, Bloodsword Sovereign. Before he died, he also opened up an independent space, which is the chaotic void that you are in. Hearing this, Fang Chen was shocked. The person on the altar at the bottom of the ancient chaotic sea was the former leader of the chaotic realm, Bloodsword Sovereign. Fang Chen was a little short of breath. When he first saw the altar, he guessed that the person being sacrificed was most likely a super expert at the invincible saint realm. Later on, he realized that he had underestimated that super expert. The heaven-severing alchemy technique that he had passed on to him was known as the supreme technique. In that case, his identity was obvious. He was a legendary primal chaos supreme realm expert. Now, the great senior had personally confirmed his guess. What he hadn't expected was that the primal chaos void had been created by the Bloodsword Sovereign. Back then, before Sovereign Bloodsword died, he used heaven-defying methods to force the patriarch of the demon-devouring clan to retreat and completely seal off the origin world, isolating it from the outside world. His goal was to buy more time for the chaos world. Patriarch Devourer Demon created the origin world. After absorbing the destiny of the chaos realm, he transformed it into a cultivation holy land that everyone yearns for. In the origin world, the 5 elemental essences were perfect, the aura of primal chaos pervaded the air, and the heavenly Tao was even more perfect. Even a newborn baby could have a cultivation base of the yin-yang origin realm. One could imagine how terrifying the origin world was. Over the years, the seal outside the origin world had loosened a little, but the patriarch of the Demon Devourer clan had never taken action. It seemed that he was also wary of the means left behind by the Bloodsword Sovereign. However, he continued to send the younger generation to the Chaos battlefield through the crack in order to maintain the overall combat strength of the origin world at the peak of the Chaos realm. The reason why the patriarch of the Demon Devourer clan has never taken action against the Chaos realm is not only because he's wary of the Bloodsword Sovereign, but also because he's raising the Chaos realm in captivity, allowing the myriad races of the universe to rise from the ashes. When they reach a certain level, he will continue to launch the Godfall War, thus seizing the destiny of the Chaos realm in the chaotic world. The great senior said. Destiny was very important to become the Chaos controller. Only by gathering all the destiny of the Chaos realm in one would one be qualified to challenge the strongest throne. Whoosh! Fang Chen took a deep breath, his heart somewhat heavy. The greatest enemy of the Chaos realm was the Demon Devourer clan, who wanted to exterminate the myriad races of the universe. However, with the current combat strength of the Chaos realm, it was difficult to resist the Demon Devourer clan. Thinking about it, The young Marquis in the Demon Skyfire domain and Marquis Xiaoyaro in the Chaos battlefield should also belong to the Demon Devourer clan, right? Originally, the primal chaos void you live in had the potential to become a cultivation holy land for the primal chaos realm. Unfortunately, when the Bloodsword Paragon was establishing it, he was attacked by the Devouring Demon clan. As a result, there was a flaw in his plan, and he failed to establish it. After the Bloodsword Paragon died, that place was completely sealed. The top experts of the Chaos realm thought that it was the last lair of the Bloodsword Sovereign, and could be considered the last bloodline of the Bloodsword Sovereign in the Chaos realm. Therefore, they joined forces to seal it, and almost no one in the Godfall battlefield knows about it. Fang Chen finally understood why the Demon Devourer clan's patriarch's clone had been hiding in the Demon Emperor's mausoleum. Now that he thought about it, he must have wanted to completely destroy the pure land left behind by the Bloodsword Sovereign. One could imagine how much the Demon Devourer clan hated the Bloodsword Sovereign. The perfect bloodline was actually the first theory proposed by the Bloodsword Sovereign, and then we worked together to perfect it. In the end, I was the one who carried it out. The two of them were just test subjects, and they both failed in the end. You are very lucky to stand out from hundreds of millions of people and become the most promising person to succeed, the great sage said. The Demon Devourer clan was invulnerable and could devour heaven and earth, but they could not devour the perfect bloodline. If they wanted to fight against the Demon Devourer clan's patriarch, they had to create a perfect bloodline. Now, Fang Chen was the only hope of the Chaos realm. The heaven-defying Alliance Master has been studying the Demon Devourer clan, and he did not hesitate to enter the Chaos battlefield to hunt them down. The great sage pondered. 100 years ago, the Chaos battlefield attracted the top experts of the Godfall battlefield, and then it was sealed. In fact, it was Marquis Xiaoyao's doing. His purpose was to train his son. After listening to the great sage's words, Fang Chen felt a lot of pressure. He was now only a 6th-level Holy Emperor warrior, and there was a certain gap between him and the invincible Saint realm, let alone the Chaos Supremacy realm. The enemy of the Chaos realm was the Demon Devourer clan's patriarch, who was much stronger than the ordinary Chaos Supremacy. It was even very likely that he would become the Chaos Controller in the future. Such a powerful existence suppressed all the clans in the heavens. Chapter 36-24. After learning the secret of the Chaos realm, Fang Chen's heart was heavy. He still had a long way to go, and the burden on his shoulders was heavy. The devouring demon clan leader was obsessed with becoming the Chaos Controller and had no time to deal with the Godsfall battlefield. Moreover, the time was not ripe yet. Therefore, there was still enough time left for him. If there are no accidents, the devouring demon clan leader will start the Godsfall battlefield in at least 100 million years. At that time, he will most likely take away all the remaining luck of the Chaos realm. Once that happened, the devouring demon clan leader would have a great chance of becoming the Chaos Controller. At that time, he could destroy the world with a single thought. All the races in the universe would be completely destroyed. During this time, what you need to do is to increase your strength and raise the perfect bloodline to the limit as soon as possible. The great sage told him that the perfect bloodline Fang Chen had in his heart had not reached true perfection. He still lacked a bloodline. Only by merging with that bloodline could he reach the limit. What bloodline? Fang Chen asked. The devouring demon bloodline, the great sage said. Hearing this, Fang Chen frowned. The young Marquis of the demonic Skyfire domain was a member of the devouring demon clan. Suppressing him should not be difficult to obtain the devouring demon bloodline. But why was the great sage frowning? It's not what you think. The devouring demon bloodline in ordinary members of the devouring demon clan is extremely rare. After countless years of reproduction, some members of the clan do not have the devouring demon bloodline at all. The great sage explained. The only true core of the devouring demon clan has the devouring demon bloodline. Only its concentration can help the perfect bloodline. The perfect bloodline plan was to combine all the bloodlines of all the races in the universe to create the strongest bloodline to counter the devouring demon bloodline and deal with the devouring demon clan. Now, the last link was missing, and it was also the most dangerous one. Then what should we do? Fang Chen was stunned. He could not sneak into the origin world to hunt down the devouring demon clan, right? That was the devouring demon clan's territory, and the devouring demon clan leader, a chaos sovereign, was there. It was simply suicide. Unexpectedly, the great sage really nodded. He said to Fang Chen very seriously, "Our plan was not so fast, but your appearance forced us to speed up the plan. Now, the only breakthrough point is the origin world." But the great sage interrupted Fang Chen and continued, "It's a miracle that you were able to bring your physical body to the end of the reincarnation road. After being purified by the dark cleansing water, your Yuan spirit has reached the nascent soul stage. The nascent soul could withstand the pressure of the sea of bitterness and be reborn smoothly. Furthermore, he could reincarnate with his memories." Fang Chen was stunned. The great sovereign's intentions were clear. He wanted him to reincarnate into the origin world with his memories. This way, he would be able to deceive everyone and obtain the demon-devouring bloodline. How powerful is the devouring demon clan leader? Can he not discover it? Fang Chen was worried. After all, it was a genuine chaotic supremacy who was much more powerful than an ordinary chaotic supremacy. Hence, he dared not let his guard down. Otherwise, once they were discovered, they would die without a doubt. They might not even have the chance to reincarnate. "Don't worry. Since I'm in charge of the reincarnation road, I definitely have a way to wash away your original aura so that you won't be discovered." The great sovereign said, "However, after reincarnating, you must remember not to activate the perfect bloodline. Otherwise, your aura will leak out. After reincarnating, the perfect bloodline would be sealed. Then if I obtain the demon-devouring bloodline, how do I leave the origin world?" Fang Chen asked. This was the question he was most concerned about. The heaven-defying alliance leader has been fighting in the chaos battlefield. There are passageways to the origin world that were built to train the devouring demon clan. However, over the long years, the heaven-defying alliance leader has secretly controlled a devouring demon clan and controlled a very hidden passageway. Once you succeed in your hunt, immediately head to that passageway. The heaven-defying alliance leader will receive you at that time. Fang Chen fell silent. This matter concerned the safety of the Chaos Realm. Once the devouring demon clan leader launched the Godsfall battle, his parents, wife, and daughter would all die. He would also die. All the races in the universe would be completely wiped out. While thinking, Fang Chen clenched his fists. Thousands of thoughts ran through his mind. "Think about it first," the great sovereign said. The plan had all been planned. They were only waiting for Fang Chen to agree. Moreover, they had been planning for this plan for countless years. They absolutely could not allow any mistakes. Otherwise, once the devouring demon clan leader found out, he would definitely launch the Godsfall battle in advance. At that time, everything would turn to ashes. All of a sudden, Fang Chen raised his head. His eyes were unusually firm. "I agree." He agreed to reincarnate and enter the origin world to hunt the devouring demon clan and seize the demon-devouring bloodline. Only in this way would there be a chance of survival in the Chaos Realm. Only then would his family and friends survive. After cultivating to this point, he felt that family was irreplaceable. His wife and daughter were still waiting for him. "All right. The plan will be launched in 3 years. During this time, do you have any unfulfilled wishes?" The great sovereign asked. "I want to go back and take a look," Fang Chen said. "No problem, I'll send you back now." At this moment, the blood cavalry saint opened his eyes and smiled at Fang Chen. "I'm very happy for you to be able to come this far. I hope you can succeed." On the other side, the bloodline king's withered face also showed a trace of blood. "You will become the hero of all clans in the heavens, the savior of the Chaos Realm." Fang Chen bowed to the two, grateful to them from the bottom of his heart. If it weren't for their help, it would have been difficult for him to reach his current height. "Senior Blood Cavalry," Fang Chen said. The Blood Cavalry saint seemed to have expected Fang Chen to ask something. He flicked his finger and a ball of light entered Fang Chen's mind. "I have given you the Star Knight's lair. But before going to hunt the Star Knights, you have to make a trip back to the Abyss of God Corpses," the Blood Cavalry saint said. Originally, One needed to comprehend 3 origins to activate the token and re-enter the abyss of god corpses. However, since Fang Chen had come this far, the Blood Cavalry Saint naturally removed the harsh conditions. Fang Chen nodded, and then his figure disappeared on the reincarnation road. Great Sage, do you think he will succeed? The Bloodline King asked in a hoarse voice. His potential is unprecedented, and he has a confidence that never gives up. If even he can't succeed, then I can't think of anyone else in the world who can. The Blood Cavalry Saint was full of praise for Fang Chen. But he still couldn't hide the sadness in his heart. The calm surface of the sea of bitterness rippled, and the aura of death filled the air. The great sage looked at the sea of bitterness and murmured, "This will be our last chance. Only success is allowed, failure is not allowed." In the demonic mountain range, the dark sword tomb had long been reduced to ashes, but there was still a cold sword chi surrounding it. Crash! Suddenly, a sword light soared into the sky. Chapter 36-25. Demonic Fire Domain. In the past 100 years, the young Marquis and the others had been fighting crazily. They had used a sacred item to severely injure the Nether Ghost Lord, causing the Godsfall Alliance to lose an invincible force. Now, only the Black and White Elders were left. Dong! Dong! Outside the tent, the war drums continued. The Black and White Elders' faces were gloomy. This battle had lasted for half a year. As the young Marquis showed his heaven-defying methods, more and more warriors who had been neutral joined him. They thought that the Godsfall battlefield had no future. The top leaders were trapped in the Chaos battlefield, and their fates were unknown. Now, it was difficult for the 2 elders of the Holy Ji Palace to resist the attacks of the young Marquis and the others. Moreover, the mysterious no-demon cult had gathered their remaining subordinates and joined the young Marquis, causing their strength to skyrocket. In the 100 years of battle, the Godsfall Alliance had suffered heavy losses. The young warriors who had fought with Fang Chen had all died on the battlefield. Many disciples of the Holy Ji Palace were not spared. Hearing the war drums, the Black and White Elders got up and slowly walked outside. Is it finally coming? The battle that had lasted for 100 years was finally coming to an end today. However, the young Marquis's strength had skyrocketed, and he had a magical item and a death substitute talisman. It was too difficult to kill him. And he still had many strong warriors under his command. For a moment, the Godsfall Alliance was in a heavy mood. Above the Fire Marrow Mine, the young Marquis, Xiao Mu, stood with his hands behind his back. He sneered at the people in the Godsfall battlefield. The outcome has been decided. The end of you sinners is here. If you surrender and join my side, I can spare your lives. Xiao Mu was disrupting the morale of the army. Everyone, I'm sure you've seen the situation on the Godsfall battlefield clearly. The ancient war will repeat itself and everyone will die. Only by relying on the young Marquis, entering the primal chaos battlefield and being protected by the carefree manner will you be spared. Someone stood up and said in a deep voice. He was once a highly respected peak master of the heaven-defying alliance, and had a close relationship with the Skysword Peak Master and others. However, who would have thought that he would be the first to betray the Godsfall Alliance? Bastard, you still have the face to stand here? The Black Elder scolded angrily. You're the peak lord of the heaven-defying alliance, yet you're openly betraying your own beliefs. Elder Bai was furious. In response, Xiao Mu sneered. He pointed at the peak leader who betrayed the heaven-defying alliance and said, "He is your role model. A wise man submits to circumstances. From now on, he will be a capable warrior of the Xiao Yarrow manner. He will definitely reach the peak of martial arts in the future." Sure enough, with Xiao Mu's words and the betrayal of the peak leader, the morale of the army became unstable and they began to scatter. Some people were ready to make a move. Bang! Nether Ghost Lord flew into a rage and killed a martial artist who had caused a disturbance in the crowd with a single palm strike. Dark Ghost Lord, what do you mean? The immemorial Bull Demon clan member angrily glared at the Nether Ghost Lord. What right do you have to kill a member of my Ox Demon clan? On what basis? Although the Nether Ghost Lord was heavily injured, his foundation was still there. It was easy for him to deal with some weak Saint Realm martial artists. Moreover, his prestige was still there. In these past years, your Ox Demon clan members have pretended to be obedient but secretly disobedient. You've been slacking off in the war and even abused your authority for personal gain. That person just now was openly tempted by the Xiao Yarrow Manor's invitation and disturbed the morale of the army. This kind of trash deserves to die. Being berated by the Nether Ghost Lord like this, the faces of the Ox Demon clan members alternated between green and blue. Could it be that your Ox Demon clan wants to betray us? His words caused everyone to tremble in fear. Although the Ox Demon clan had declined, they were still one of the top forces on the Godsfall battlefield. If they betrayed them, the blow to the Godsfall alliance would be too great. What's with the nonsense? Let's start the war. Xiao Mu's servant sneered. Since you're so stubborn, don't blame me for being impolite. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Mu's hand suddenly shook. In an instant, a grey array appeared in the middle of the battlefield, enveloping everyone within it. At the same time, the people behind him began to attack. The shocking battle had begun. In order to protect the last pure land, kill, the Black and White Elders were the first to attack. Their target was the young Marquis, Xiao Mu. As long as they captured him, this battle would come to an end. You two old things, I've tolerated you for a long time. Xiao Mu's eyes flashed with a cold light as he charged at the Black and White Elders. The battle in the Demon Dome Fire domain attracted the attention of everyone on the Godsfall battlefield. They were all nervously waiting. However, Fang Chen was completely unaware that he was in the demonic mountain range, trying to use the blood essence of the Blood God clan to communicate with Lord Qing. Buzz. The blood essence of the Blood God clan spun in his mind, emitting a scarlet aura. Finally, it silently invaded the earth. After the war 100 years ago, the demonic mountain range had become a mess. The lair of the no-demon cult had been reduced to ruins. However, Fang Chen was certain that Lord Qing was still sleeping underground. Senior Lord Qing. Fang Chen called out softly as the blood essence of the Blood God clan continued to penetrate deeper. Hiss, hiss. After a long while, Fang Chen discovered an abnormality. The power released by the blood essence of the Blood God clan suddenly stopped and quickly gathered together. Fang Chen's powerful consciousness spread out and instantly invaded the earth. He instantly discovered a weak consciousness. It's you. Lord Qing also discovered Fang Chen. You actually, Lord Qing was shocked. Fang Chen actually walked out from the end of the reincarnation road alive. It was simply unbelievable. Senior, how are your injuries? Fang Chen asked. My injuries have not healed. I can't leave this place for the time being, unless... Lord Qing said. Unless what? Fang Chen asked. I was seriously injured back then and the death aura invaded. This is also the reason why I can't recover. All these years, I have been sleeping here to absorb the power of reincarnation to expel the death aura. Lord Qing sighed. He knew that this place was related to the reincarnation road, so he chose to sleep here. Expel the death aura? Fang Chen was stunned. He originally thought that it would take a lot of effort, but he didn't expect it to be so simple. Senior, I can help you. While speaking, Fang Chen's wrist shook, and the reincarnation blade appeared. The mighty power of reincarnation crazily drilled into the ground. Lord Qing didn't believe it at first, but after seeing the power of reincarnation, he was completely stunned. Senior, hurry up and absorb it. Fang Chen's voice came. Deep underground, Lord Qing was very excited and began to absorb the power of reincarnation. 3 days later. Boom. A loud noise could be heard coming from the ground. The entire demonic mountain range was shaking. Immediately after, a frightening power soared into the sky. Lord Qing. Fang Chen greeted with a smile. He didn't expect Lord Qing at his peak to be so powerful. Chapter 36-26. Qing Jun, who was at his peak, was so powerful that it made people shudder. Boom. A deafening sound came from underground, followed by the ground cracking. The entire bewitching mountain range trembled, as if a force that crossed time and space was coming at them. It gave people a feeling of ancient vicissitudes and incomparably profound. So strong, is this the strength of a former peak powerhouse? Fang Chen sighed. Even though he already had some understanding of Lord Qing's past, seeing his true self with his own eyes still shocked him. Crash! Just as Fang Chen was sighing, an old man in a green robe suddenly appeared. Junior Fang Chen greets Lord Qing. Fang Chen clasped his fists. Lord Qing stroked his beard, and a smile appeared on his old face. He nodded to Fang Chen with satisfaction. Miracle, this is simply a martial arts miracle. He looked at Fang Chen seriously, and stormy waves were set off in his heart. After being invaded by the Qi of death, he had almost died. He had only managed to retain his last shred of consciousness. Dragging his broken body, he had fallen into a deep slumber here, constantly comprehending the power of reincarnation. He wanted to use the power of reincarnation to expel the Qi of death in his body. However, the death aura's erosion was too serious, and the reincarnation road was too mysterious. It had always been difficult for him to recover. Now, he was saved by a rising star of the five elements sacred realm. Moreover, it was a martial artist he saved 100 years ago. I was just lucky. Fang Chen was modest. The reincarnation road was of great importance, and he did not explain it to Lord Qing in detail. The latter gave him a thumbs up. In any case, you are the only person I have ever seen who can walk out of the reincarnation road alive. Moreover, Lord Qing could clearly feel that Fang Chen's strength had become extremely powerful in 100 years. When he saw Fang Chen's spirit, he was stunned on the spot. It took a long time for him to recover. The world will be yours in the future. He had never felt that he had become old and that he was powerless in some things until he met Fang Chen. Little friend Fang, I, Lord Qing, owe you a favor. If you need anything in the future, I will not hesitate to go through water and tread on fire, Lord Qing said. A promise from Lord Qing was worth 1,000 gold. Senior, I just came out of the reincarnation road. I'm a little worried about the heaven-defying alliance. Qing Jun nodded and said directly, let's go now. At their level, their speed was already extremely fast. With a single thought, they could travel tens of millions of miles. On the way, Fang Chen released his powerful primordial spirit to sense the world. He instantly discovered the battle in the magic Skyfire region. His expression changed drastically as he sped up. In less than half a day, the two of them arrived at the magic Skyfire region. At that moment, the battle in the demonic Skyfire region was extremely intense. Xiao Mu relied on the holy artifact in his hands and the array to block the black and white elders, preventing them from saving the others. On the other battlefields, the powerhouses of the Godsfall Alliance and the Carefree Mansion were constantly fighting. Kill. Fang Chen saw that those who had joined the heaven-defying alliance with him had fought bravely and died at the hands of the experts of the Carefree Manor. At the same time, he also saw that the no-demon cult protector was crazily killing the people of the Godsfall Alliance. Even though the Godsfall Alliance had the advantage in numbers, they lacked top-notch combat power. The battle was almost one-sided. In just 3 days, the Godsfall battlefield was almost completely defeated. Miserable screams came from the battlefield. At a glance, the magic Skyfire region was like purgatory. It was chilling. Terrifying killing intent surged from Fang Chen's body. Beside him, Qing Jun was also furious. Old bastards, I will let you all personally witness your people dying before your eyes. Xiao Mu sneered. On the other side of the battlefield, a female servant of Xiao Mu was fighting the top disciple of the Dao Palace. Pucci. Drunk Monk had already used all his strength. His combat power was comparable to an invincible saint. However, he was unable to fight back against the female servant. Humph, how dare trash like you call yourself an invincible saint? What a joke. The female servant sneered. The Chaos Realm's heavenly path was damaged and its origin was thin. At the same level, it was impossible to defeat the powerhouses of the Origin Realm. Therefore, the female servant had been suppressing Drunk Monk from the beginning. Damn it. Drunk Monk's head was bald, and his body was filled with killing intent. He was once the top disciple of the Dao Palace and was known as a rare genius. However, he was engrossed in cultivation and had never walked around the world. Now that the Godsfall battlefield was facing a great calamity, he was duty-bound to step forward. If I don't go to hell, who will? Drunk monk put his palms together and chanted Buddhist scriptures. His body flashed with golden light. However, those who were observant could see that the golden light was mixed with a little black luster. Seeing this, the black and white elders shouted, wanting to stop him. Stop! Drunk monk was activating the hidden dark power in his body. He was turning dark. He vaguely remembered that the Thunder Palace Lord had said that once the dark power in his body was activated, he would be completely lost and become a killing machine. All these years, he had been cultivating Buddhism and wanted to refine it. However, he couldn't care less now. Even if he died, he would drag someone down with him. Damn bald donkey, it's useless. The female servant looked at him with disdain. A long staff suddenly appeared in her hand. She activated her power and swung it at Drunk Monk. Rumble. Terrifying power surged. Just as Drunk Monk was about to turn dark, a palm suddenly landed on his shoulder. It instantly suppressed the dark aura in his body and woke him up. Then, Drunk Monk felt a gentle force pushing him out of the battlefield. At the same time, the person who came reached out with his bare hand. Under everyone's gaze, he easily grabbed the staff that the female servant had swung at him. Crack. Then, with a shake of his wrist, the staff shattered. Poof. The female servant was sent flying by the recoil. The person who came took the opportunity to strike with his saber. Boom. Before the female servant landed on the ground, she was killed. Her body and soul were destroyed. In an instant, the entire demonic Skyfire domain fell silent. The battle also came to an abrupt end. Everyone's eyes were focused on the figure in the dust. Fang Chen? Finally, when the dust settled, the people of the Godsfall Alliance recognized Fang Chen. Then, they were overjoyed. Especially the black and white elders, they couldn't believe their eyes. What happened? The two of them looked at each other, their hearts trembling. It's you. The no-demon cult protector screamed, while Xiao Mu stared at Fang Chen. Everyone was shocked by Fang Chen's strength. How strong did he need to be to suppress Xiao Mu's female servant? Junior brother Fang? Drunken monk was stunned. Then, he rubbed his head and grinned. It's Fang Chen from the Dao Palace. His back. Oh my god, the genius who disappeared for 100 years has finally returned. The protector of the no-demon cult glared at Fang Chen. Xiao Mu smiled playfully. I was just about to look for you. I didn't expect you to deliver yourself to me. Do you think you can fight me with your strength? What if I join?